Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to Gorilla Cricket South Africa on One World Sports Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. News from Colombo is that Sri Lanka have won the toss and they will bat first. I'm here with Tim Dale-Lace. How are you, Tim?
Otto, all good, but all good. One more going to go for us before the business end of the situation comes with the World Cup just around the corner. So last chance for a few players to get into that final 11, if you like. The squad's decided, but a few places in the final 11, if they want to get they got a chance to take it.
So, any changes to the teams? I haven't been able to pay attention to any of the media.
More has come in for Nokia for South Africa. I can tell you that. And Sri Lanka made 3 changes. Avishka, the batsman, Fernando Kamindo and Madhu Shanaka have all come in for Chandamal, Asalanka and Praveen. So 3 changes for Sri Lanka and 1 for us.
Okay. Do we know if those are forced changes? Okay, we're 5 seconds away here. I'll jump onto ball by ball, if it's okay with you.
Yes. I think the South Africa's is a decision made. South African change. I'm not entirely sure about the Sri Lankans, but I know that ours wasn't an injury.
Single off the first delivery, and that is Bjorn Fortuin opening the bowling for South Africa. He bowled to Kusa Pereira, who hit a on drive, it looked like, and they took an easy single there down to mid on or long on. Bjorn Fortuin, slow left arm bowler, and he's going to be coming in for the second delivery now. So he's going around the wicket now to the other opener, who is Avishka Fernando. This one is down the leg side, and that'll be wided. It is indeed wided. So there's 2 runs on the board for Sri Lanka without the loss of a wicket.
So once again, South Africa will be chasing, which I think is a good thing. Just hopefully they'll have a few more runs to chase this time round.
Yes, indeed. Another wide there by Bjorn Fortuin. It runs down to fine leg and they take a single. So not a great start here by Fortuin. Let's hope that he can pull things back. It's 3 without loss, and he'll be bowling to Pereira now. This one is outside off stump to the left-hander, worked out to mid-wicket for another quick single there. 5 without loss after 2 deliveries.
The series 1 now, so we won the series. We want to be challenged here. We want to be chasing, 140 plus. We want to see if we can do it.
Fortuin into Fernando, I think. This one is swept and high off the top edge, lands just about 10 meters short of the fine leg boundary for the right-hander, and they take a single. No, I think they ran 2 there. Yes, Fernando is back on strike. Tried the sweep shot there, slog sweep, got the top edge, nobody down on the boundary at fine leg. They'll have to be a little bit careful there. And this time, Avishka Fernando comes down the wicket, but just plays a block down to backward point for no run. So 2 wides in a row. Not great.
Have you seen Rabada's new haircut?
No, not yet. This one is swept fine and races down to the boundary, and it will go for 4 down to fine leg. Just helped on its way. Another one straying down the leg side. So after 5 legitimate deliveries, Sri Lanka are 11 without loss. And Fortuin is now getting a word in the ear there from the captain. This one was a full toss outside leg stump, and Fernando, the right-hander, just paddled it around past the man in the ring at fine leg. So Avishka Fernando facing the final ball of the over. This one also a bit down leg with the line of the delivery there, but straight to the man at fine leg inside the ring, and that's 11 without loss after 1 over.
But you could see what he's trying to do. You can see what he's trying to do there for turn. He's trying to tuck up the batsman, but he's just getting it too much leg side. He wants to be between middle and leg. He wants to be in that corridor, in towards the stumps, but he's bowling it outside the stumps. So he'll want to improve when he gets his next chance.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll see who carries on with the bowling attack now, as the second over of the innings will start here for Sri Lanka. And they're showing us the teams there with the 3 changes for Sri Lanka and only the 1. So this is Kagiso Rabada, and he's got the shaved head. Looks quite cool on him, I must say. It suits him. This one is pulled from outside off by the left-handed Kusal Pereira down to square leg for a single. And Avishka will now face Rabada 12 without loss.
Leo Manthorpe said it reminded him of marvelous Marvin Hagler, the boxer.
Yes.
Marvin Hagler, the boxer?
Yeah. No, I can't recall what Marvin Hagler looked like. But
he's bald like that.
Of course, yeah. Sure, but there are quite a few boxers who opt for that hairstyle. But I think it suits him well. It looks good. He comes over the wicket now to the right-handed Avishka Fernando, straight to the man at mid-wicket, and there's no run. Yeah, no, I think it suits him. Some people can't have that hairstyle, but it doesn't look like he's got a lot of cuts and bruises on his scalp, so it looks quite
yes. Nice. Yeah, no, it's clean. Yes, quite.
Rabada in again over the wicket. This one is hoiked over long on, 1 bounce 4 for the right-handed Avishka Fernando. Good looking shot there, full outside off, and just swatted over long on. Gave himself room, outside leg. Kagiso tried to follow him, and just got a nice half volley there.
Once you get it over the inner ring, you know it's going to go for 4.
So Kagiso Rabada in again. And he comes over the wicket now to the right-hander, shorter, and pulled through the air over mid-wicket in the ring. The man sweeping on the onside boundary tidies up, and it looks like they're going to just get the single there. So the score moves on to 18 without loss.
A good change of pace with that delivery there from Rabada, just rolling his fingers over the ball. It was 116 speed. So good to see that he's willing to try a few things, try that lack of pace.
Yep, indeed. Kagiso Rabada full on middle and blocked out by Avishka Fernando. They took 2 there in that previous delivery. And it looks like there's an appeal for LBW that was given. So we'll see what happens here.
No, it's the catch.
Oh, return catch, caught and bowled.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're reviewing that now. Sorry about that. So 2 balls to go in the second over, 18 without loss, and there's a review for a catch by the umpires. I didn't see the soft signal there. Did you catch that?
It was not out. I think it's a bum ball.
Okay, we'll see. Front foot is fine. Legal delivery. And so the ball goes full onto middle stump, off the bat, through the air. That's not a bump ball as far as I can tell. We'll have a look at the side-on angle. It bounces just in front of his bat as he tries to dig that out in front of his middle stump. That's if that's a catch.
I don't know. I think. What do you think? What do you think, Otto?
It looks like a catch to me.
I think that's out. Yeah, I really was surprised.
Yeah, so the ball jams the bat into the ground, but it hits the ground just before it reaches the bat and doesn't go back down onto the ground, and just bobbles up in the air.
Yeah, Otto and I are in agreement that we think this is out. They're still checking it, mind you, the umpires, third umpire.
As they should, of course. No problem with that at all.
We think this could well be out.
Yes.
Which really was a turn up for the books. I certainly was not expecting that to be the case. But Rabada was quite confident when he appealed. He was.
I was a bit perplexed.
That ankle they're showing us ankle front on, and that looks to me like the ankle they should focus on. That looks convincingly out. There's no deviation.
Yep. Very nice catch there by Kagiso as well. So well done to him. Well, it was an easy catch, but still, it had to be taken.
It was an easy catch.
Out is the decision, and that is the end of Avishka Fernando. Won't you give us his figures there, please, Tim, if you can?
Avishka Fernando is bowled Rabada for 12 of 8 deliveries. So he has scored some runs in the series, both in the against South Africa. He'll be disappointed by that, but 12 of 8.
So a better picture now for South Africa with an early wicket there. Hopefully they can do the same as in the second T20 and really restrict Sri Lanka to a low total here. Or would you prefer to see us chasing a big one?
I would prefer to be chasing 140. Not 170 or 180. I would like us to be challenged. I'd like us to be challenged. Give us 140 and then see if we can do it, especially against the spinners of Sri Lanka. Because I said, it doesn't matter if we lose the game. We've won the series. Series is won. What matters is the World Cup. I want us to chase.
Dhananjaya, and he just blocks this down to backward point for a single. So the score after 2 overs, 19 for 1. Just a
reminder, if you can tweet us at Guerrilla, GUERILLASA, and we'll read out all your tweets. So keep us entertained throughout the match.
Yeah, please do join the conversation. Go and check out our YouTube channel. The football podcasts have started. There's another date night drip episode, which is quite entertaining. So that's I think that's still the guys talking about which team's kit is appropriate to wear on a first date, and so evaluating the kits through that lens. This one by Bjorn Fortuin to is that that's not Kusal Pereira, so that's Dhananjaya, the new man, to the crease, and this is a dot ball out to the onside.
Our fellow commentator on the YouTube, Chris TB, says it's going to take him a while to get used to the
he's bowled.
cagey haircut.
De Silva has been bowled by Bjorn Fortuin. He tried to hoik this over the offside. Looked like he was trying the slog over long off. Double steps down the pitch, misses everything as he tries to work it to the onside. And he is bowled by Bjorn Fortuin for 1. Give us his figures there, please.
I'm going to give you his figures now. He was stumped by De Kock by Fortuin for 1 of 3 deliveries. Another disappointment for Sri Lanka. Score is now 19 for 2. It looks very similar to the last game. Looks very similar. Looks like Sri Lanka may not be giving us that challenge that I am asking them to give us.
Yes. Well, they've still got some powerful cricket players in their side. But if the last T20 is anything to go by, it's just a bit of a misfiring side at the moment, Sri Lanka, in this T20 series. But they played really well in the ODIs, I thought. So Bhanuka Rajapaksa is the new batsman in 9 innings, 160 runs in his career so far. He will be facing Bjorn Fortuin, who's bowling his second over after a poor start from Bjorn Fortuin, conceding 11 off the first over. Okay, now we see a replay of the side on view, and just the easiest stumping in the world there for Quinton de Kock. The batsman was still swinging through the shot as he took the bails off. And this one is outside off stump to the left-handed Rajapaksa, who just pops this down the pitch, almost reaches the bowler there, almost another caught and bowled, but bounced well short of Bjorn Fortuin in the end. He comes in again, this one on the stumps, work to the leg side, back, fine leg in the ring, throws to the non-striker's end, and there is someone backing up there. So no harm done in the end for Sri Lanka. And,
I'm glad there was somebody backing up, because that was a very wayward throw. Well over.
Yes, indeed. Well
over.
Yeah, well over his head. So all good in the end. So this is Kusal Pereira facing now. This one outside off stump, and he works this out to long on for a single. And the score after 2.4 overs is 21 for 2, excuse me. So a bad start from South Africa with the ball, I would say, in the first 1.5 overs, but now pinning it back really nicely. And Bjorn Fortuin, the final delivery is a sweep attempted by Rajapaksa, but he only manages to get a bottom edge into his pads out to backward point for no run. 21 for 2 after 3, 7 runs an over achieved. So far, Bjorn Fortuin 1 for 13, so 2 runs and a wicket in that over. Nice comeback.
Yeah, good comeback there from Fortuin. But as you say, Sri Lanka do have some decent players, but it just looks like a disjointed side. It just looks like you can tell it's missing players by the way they're playing. If they had Angela Matthews and Dikwela in this 11, they would look 100 times better.
Absolutely. So it looks to me, who's that? That's Kusal Pereira on the ground, on his back, getting some physio treatment there on his hamstrings. So I don't know if he pulled something while he was running, but he seems to be fine. He's back on his feet, putting the gloves back on. So maybe just a twinge in the muscle there somewhere. So good news for Sri Lanka.
It looks a bit more like cramp than anything.
Yeah, he was sort of pushing up his hips off the ground, maybe a lower back kind of issue. I don't know. Rabada, the clean shaven, all over his head, not a single hair left on the man's face or his head. I like this. He looks meaner.
If he wants to go that way, that's fine. That's absolutely fine by me. No complaints.
Oh, yes. So Kusal Pereira is ready to face Rabada, who comes over the wicket to the left-hander, cuts this one past the diving man at backward point, but there's a third man running around to cut that off, and they'll take 2. So 3.1 overs gone, 23 for 2.
There is a slight concern, I think, in some quarters with Rabada, just a slight one, because in his career, this is the second most expensive year he's had as a T20 bowler. He's going at over 9 and over.
And this one is on the stumps, short of a length, just worked out to mid-wicket by Kusal Pereira, no run there, 23 for 2. Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen his potential in the T20s, that's for sure. But I think it's because of the opposition and the conditions that we played in. I think that has played a role. But it is surprising to see him being so expensive. Rabada over the wicket, full outside off stump, and driven straight to middle off by the left-handed. Kusal Pereira comes through for 1 run. I think he was well in there, no danger of a run out, 24 for 2, but good work in the field to get the ball back to the non-striker's end.
And
so
it's only
picked up and cleanly thrown there. Nice backing up as well in the field by South Africa. Kusal Pereira was well safe and home. No
good cricket all round. Good cricket all round. Good running, good fielding. Quite right. Yeah.
Excellent. So, Kagiso Rabada to continue. He comes over the wicket now to the left-handed Rajapaksa. This is a short ball outside the leg stump as Rajapaksa stepped back to give himself room, and that one nearly took his head off. He had to sway out the way there. Good bouncer and nice work there by Rabada following the batsman. Yuck, that was a good bouncer. That would have been in the net.
That was a beauty. Yeah. It followed him.
Yeah. Yep.
The batsman tried to get out the way, but the ball followed him inches over his face. It was a great bouncer.
Rabada in again, full outside off stump, thick outside edge, and it squirts past the vacant second slip down to the third man boundary for a 4. Yeah, you don't see a slip in play very often, but you see it's that kind of shot that maybe that's more like third or fourth slip there, but it's that kind of shot where it's not really a great shot, it's not really a mistake by the bowler, but in the end it's 4 runs on the board and on Rabada's bowling figures, which makes it difficult to say. I mean, you'll have to go back and check, like, what kind of quality was he bowling. Oh yes, and he takes the leg stump of Rajapaksa, who steps away once again, showing Rabada all 3 stumps, and Rabada says, I'll have the leg stump, thank you. Full and onto the stumps, realizing what the batsman is trying to do, and just goes for the full ball on leg stump, and that hit the leg stump so hard that the bail on the off and middle stump is still on there without disturbing the other 2 wickets and the bail. So that just gives you an idea of how fast that was.
I think Rabada should stay clean shaven.
They're checking the no ball. They're checking the no ball. It looks like his foot has got enough behind the line. Yeah, it's only this one replay, and it was about half a centimeter of Rabada's heel behind the line. So good stuff there by Rabada. That's more like it. So he's gone for 2 for 15. What's his bowling figures now?
Yeah, 2 for 15.
And that's
2 overs, 2 for 15.
So that was the end of the 4th over. So once again, a nice comeback by Rabada, because he that lucky edge there. Without that, his figures would have been a little bit better. And his first over also wasn't great. But 2 wickets in 2 overs for Rabada. That's awesome.
Rajapaksa is dismissed for 5 of 6 deliveries. That was a really good over. You had the bouncer, which was following the batsman. You had the full ball outside the off stump, which got the edge, which went for 4. And then you got the ball, because he was trying to make it, the batsman was trying to make room. He knew that he could go in towards the leg stump, and that full ball on the leg stump, and it took out the leg stump. It was a really, really good working over of the batsman by Rabada. Quality bowling.
Yeah, and strange to see the batsman there, stepping away from his wickets like that, trying to give himself room against somebody with Rabada's pace. Dwayne Pretorius into the attack. This one is full on middle and worked out to the onside by Kusal Pereira. There's a bit of a misfield, and the ball will reach the boundary past the captain. So he won't be impressed with himself there. Keshav Maharaj standing at mid-on for the left-hander. Looks like it went just past him, and he slid down onto the ground to try and cut that ball off. But the ball just sneaking underneath. Dwayne Pretorius is not impressed. He comes in again to the left-hander. This one is a nice pull shot straight to the fielder on the square leg boundary, and another fumble and another 4. And Dwayne Pretorius is thinking, guys, come on. Really? This is not nice, man. You've got to give your bowler more support there in the field. No, not at all.
Yeah.
And he's bowling to his field, you can say that. And Clarkson went down with the bridge, the knee there behind the ball, but just didn't steady himself before he tried to stop that ball, and it ricocheted off his knee into the boundary rope. Pretorius in again. This one is just dabbed down into the ground for no run to the offside by the right-handed Kusal Pereira. 36 for 3 is the score. just check that. Sorry, the left-hander there, Kusal Pereira. I was about to say, that's not right. So the Sri Lankans are scoring runs, but they've lost those 3 wickets, which is not great for them. Dwayne Pretorius in with his 4th delivery, outside off stump, cut past the man at backward point, and the sweeper on the cover boundary will pick that up and get it back to Quinton de Kock. And the score now, after 4.4 overs, will be 38 for 3 for Sri Lanka. This is interesting stuff here. It would have been nice if Dwayne Pretorius had some support from his fielders, but at the moment he's bowling a very expensive over. He bowls the 5th ball now. This one is just defended out to the sweeper on the cover boundary, and they'll take a single to move the score to 39 for 3 after 4.5 overs. So 1 ball to go in the 5th over. Dwayne Pretorius' first of the match.
As you said, you can't blame Pretorius. Pretorius has bowled to the field and has gone for 11, but it should have actually only been 3.
Yep, that is correct. As Dwayne Pretorius comes in again over the wicket, and this one is driven straight to the man at extra cover, a shortish extra cover or a shortish mid-off. Take your pick. There's no run. 39 for 3 after 5 overs.
So they always say you lose 3 inside the power play, you're 80% gonna lose, 85% gonna lose. So odds are on South Africa winning this, but Sri Lanka will hope that they can get some sort of total on the board.
Yep, and there's still 3/4 of the Sri Lankan innings to go, so we'll see what kind of score they're posting, because their run rate is healthy. Almost 8 runs and over, which is great in these conditions. We've seen it become difficult to score at times. Rabada will continue, and this one is on the middle and leg stump of Kusal Pereira, works this down to backward square leg for a single. 40 is up for Sri Lanka, 40 for 3 after 5.1.
And
Kusal Pereira now on 19, and
the new batsman
Kusal Mendes is on 0 of 1.
It's Kamindo. It's Kamindo Mendes.
Kamindo Mendes. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It's one of the new guys.
Mendes.
Yeah.
So apologies for that. So there's 2 left-handers at the crease now. So keep that in mind. Rabada now looking around, moving his fielder around a little bit. He's got quite a round head, does Rabada, so that helps with the shaved head. Some people have weird-shaped heads, and if they've shaved their hair, it just looks strange. He's got a slip in now, 2nd slip it looks like. And Rabada is at the top of his mark. Still not happy with the field. No, he comes in now. Over the wicket to the left-hander, and it's dabbed down into the offside for no run. Kamindo Mendes has faced 2 balls now without scoring.
You're not the only one, Otto. Quick info had it as Dashan Shanaka as the batsman. Dashan Shanaka is a right-handed batsman. So that they got it wrong as well.
Rabada over the wicket to the left-handed Kamindo Mendes, who plays a very nice-looking on-drive there. Strikes the pose, but mid-on is able to run back as the ball had quite a high trajectory there, and they run 2. So Kamindo Mendes off the mark there with that shot. Good-looking shot. It was on middle and off, coming across the left-hander, a little bit pitched on leg, but he just played it very nicely straight back down the line for 2 there.
That's a lot more. Sri Lanka will need to see a lot more of that from their perspective.
Rabada to Mendes, and this one is just dabbed down to the 3rd man boundary, where it's fielded by Shamsi, and they only get a single that time. 43 for 3 now after 5.4.
Talking about Shamsi, I wonder when they're going to give him a bowl.
Yes, I'm sure that he's going to be very eager to get stuck in here. let's just see here. Camindo Mendes, he's played 5 matches, but he only high score of 41, 69 runs, average of 17.25. So still young in his career. Kusal Pereira, very much more, 10 times more experienced. Kagiso Rabada goes to Kusal Pereira now, who plays a very nice looking off drive, straight drive over the boundary rope for 4. That is good for Sri Lanka. 1 ball to go in the 6th, and they are on 47 for 3. So once again, almost, just over 8 and over now with 1 ball to go in the 6th.
Yeah, as you say, runs-wise, they're going okay. They're going all right. They've just got to stop losing wickets.
Yes, indeed. No, just leaning on that drive there, evading the man, running around from mid-off. Beautiful shot there by Kusal Pereira. So let's see what Kagiso can come up with. He goes now again to Pereira. This one is an on drive, but it's straight to the man at mid-on. And did they take a single there? There was a thought of a single, but then Kusal Pereira got sent back, wisely so. 47 for 3 after 6. And Pereira is on 23 or 15. Excellent strike rate. And Camindo Mendes new to the crease, 3 or 4 so far. So good stuff there.
I'm not sure who said it first, but there was somebody who said, you don't run off a fumble. And that was a fumble there for Maharaj. But you just don't run off it.
At least the fumble didn't cost us another 4 runs. So there's your answer, Tim. The 7th over is Tabraiz Shamsi's first over. Is he still the number 1 ranked T20 bowler? Or
as far as I'm aware, yes. I can have a check for you just to double check. But yeah.
And have we got some tweets there? As Shamsi warms up, he's going to be bowling to Camindo Mendes, who's on 3.
No tweets and no YouTube comments, I'm afraid. Very quiet.
Yeah, I guess people have maybe lost interest a bit with the series being over, but hopefully we'll catch up when the workday ends for most people. I had to go and get my 2nd vaccination this morning. Shamsi over the wicket to the left-hander, and this one is cut to the sweeper on the offside boundary, and for a single, 48 for 3. So apparently 2 weeks from now, I can give people hugs and handshakes again. So I'm looking forward to that. Kusal Pereira, 23 of 16, facing Shamsi now, comes over the wicket. This one is dragged down short, and it's pulled by Kusal Pereira, but there is a man there at deep mid-wicket for a single, and that's all they'll get for that shot. Now, as I understand it, you can still actually give people COVID even if you are vaccinated, so it's weird. We'll have to wait and see what they say.
Yeah.
It's a virus, so it's strange. Yeah.
No vaccination.
Shamsi to the left-handed Camindo Mendes, excuse me. And this one is straight to backward point. A little bit through the air, but safely onto the ground. He's still on 4, and that's 49 for 3 after 6.3. So Shamsi in again, left arm over the wicket. And shortish, just a back foot cut shot there, or back foot punch there. And the man sweeping on the boundary comes running in, and that would be just a single. 50 up for Sri Lanka after 6.4.
No vaccination is foolproof. That doesn't matter whether it's polio or this.
Yes.
Yes. But it's better to have it than not have it.
Oh, yes. So Shamsi in again. This one, another one a bit short, I would say. This one is just pulled out to deep mid-wicket. For a lazy single, 51 for 3 after 6.5 overs. Camindo Mendes facing Tabraiz Shamsi, and Kusal Pereira now on to 25 of 17. And of course, there are quite a number of viruses for which we have absolutely no vaccination or treatment. Kusal Mendes facing Shamsi, works this out to mid-wicket, and they take a quick single or a wide mid-on area. Shamsi fields it himself, end of the 7th over, 52 for 3. So I was saying the other day, living in Africa, if there's a disease running around and we actually do have a vaccine or a treatment for it, that's a good thing, because we have so many that's very difficult to contain and to treat.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Looks like it looks like potentially Sri Lanka might decide to see off Shamsi. They might not decide not to take any risks and go after the other bowlers because they know that he's such a threat. Just to answer your question, he is still the number 1 T20 bowler at the moment.
Aha. And we now see Aiden Markram into the attack. Now that there's now how many? 4 fielders outside the ring, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so he's got some protection. He comes right hand round the wicket to Kamindu Mendes, straight to backward point, no run. And a bit short again there, just like Shamsi dragged a few ones down, and Markram in again. This one is punched off the back foot out to the man coming around from long off. And Kamindu Mendes gets another single. 7.2 overs gone, 53 for 3.
I've got a tweet for you, but I'll ask it at the end of the over, Osho.
Okay, Markram around the wicket, and Fuller this time driven straight to extra cover for no run. 7.3 overs gone. Markram's first over of the match. Only the single so far. He comes in again to Kusal Pereira, who works this round the corner to backward square leg for a single. 54 for 3. 2 balls to go in the 8th.
It's almost like it's almost like the boring middle overs of a 50-over game.
Yes. Kamindu Mendes facing Markram. He tries to lift this over extra cover. He does exactly that, but there's a man sweeping on the boundary. Gets the ball fired in nice and flat, and they only get a single there. 1 ball to go in the 8th over, 55 for 3. So Chris and Chepo are going to take over from us. That'll be worth a listen. Markram to Kusal Pereira, who gets this wide of the bowler running around, but they don't take the single there. 53 for 3 after 8.
Okay, so Josie Oak tweets in, says afternoon all. He asks, Otto, what's the weather like at Joburg?
It's the sunny. Maximum today here in Pretoria was 29. Minimum, I think, was like 12 or 10, around there. Celsius, of course. No clouds. Very nice, warm spring day.
Can you send that?
I don't know about Johannesburg, but here in the northeast of Pretoria, it was a lovely day.
Can you send some of that down to the Cape, please?
No, that's all on you, my man. You decided to go and live there.
Cold and miserable.
Shamsi into Kusal Pereira, works this out to deep mid-wicket for another lazy single. Now, I think Sri Lanka have realized that if they lose another wicket, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to chase anything that they can defend. But also, I thought in that second T20 as well, they are a side that can defend almost anything. And Kusal Pereira goes for the sweep shot to Shamsi. They take a quick single down to fine leg inside the circle. So that will mean that the score goes on to 57 for 3 with Kamindu Mendes on 9, facing Shamsi Pereira on 27.
The spinners will certainly be an asset in Oman, that's for sure.
Shamsi to Kamindu Mendes, who works this off his leg stump out to square leg for a single. 58 for 3. No risks here from Pereira and Mendes. They're just working the spinners around for singles and twos, the occasional 2, waiting for the bad ball, no doubt. Shamsi into Kusal Pereira, and this one is full on middle and off, driven by Pereira out to wide-ish long on. And they take 2. Good running there. 60 up for Sri Lanka, 60 for 3.
They go under 7 and over, but this could potentially be very smart cricket. If they could go big in the last 6 overs or so, 5-6 overs of the innings, this could be very smart cricket to just see off Shamsi.
Yeah, Pereira facing Shamsi, full toss on leg stump, and it's flicked down to forward of square on the leg side for another single. Yeah, I mean, it looks like, 140, 150 is about par on this ground. So if you can go at 7, just about 7 runs and over, and then cut loose in the last 5 or 6 with some wickets in hand, you could put up a really daunting score. That one spun nicely away from the left-hander by Shamsi. And that's the end of the 9th over. No run there to Kamindo Mendes, 61 for 3.
And we've got one more over of our slot before Chippo and Chris take over. Only 3 extras from South Africa. That's a good stat for us. 3 extras, 9 overs. That's good.
Yeah, and those 2 of those were the 2 wides that Bjorn Fortuin bowled in the first over.
Yes,
so it's been very, very disciplined since then. That's good to see. I like that. I think he might have bowled the 3rd one as well. Let me check. See on the scorecard now. So Aiden Markram will continue. Let's see here. Who were the guilty bowlers in the extras column there? It was Bjorn Fortuin and 2 by Kagiso Rabada. Excuse me. 1 wide by Bjorn Fortuin and 2 by Kagiso Rabada. Okay, so Markram into Kusal Pereira, who works this off his pads, off his leg stump, out to square leg, and they take a single. So it's easy to tell the batsmen apart at the moment because Kusal Pereira is not wearing a helmet and Kamindo Mendes is.
That certainly helps, doesn't it?
Yep.
That certainly helps.
No, we don't often get to see the names on the back here. And Markram to Kamindo Mendes, straight to extra cover, no run. Both left-handers, of course. Kamindo Mendes has snuck past double figures. He's on 10 now. 62 for 3, 9.2 overs gone. Markram round the wicket, right-hander. This one is off a leading edge, high up into the air and down safely into the hands of extra cover. That's the 4th wicket down for Sri Lanka. Markram has his first one, and the 2nd wicket off spin bowling for South Africa. 62 for 4.
Golden Markram strikes again. Kamindo Mendes has been removed for 10 of 16 deliveries. As he looks very disappointed as he comes off. Nice easy catch there from the captain, Maharaj. They don't get much easier than that. So Sri Lanka 62 for 4, 9.3 overs gone.
Kamindo Mendes tried to work that to the onside, but just went through the shot a bit too early and was done by that delivery from Markram, who's now bowled 1 for 4 off 1.3 overs. So good work by Aiden Markram.
He's certainly been an asset with the ball in this series, Markram. I think you're going to see him bowl quite a bit in the World Cup as well, if he gets the chance.
No, I remember being very disappointed the last time we toured the subcontinent, where we took a few of the domestic guys that did well in the domestic series, spinners that did well in the domestic series. And none of them really stood up and took the opportunity to bowl in these spin-friendly conditions. But this time, in this series, the spinners have done really, really well. So that's good to see.
Indeed.
If you're a spin bowler, this is where you want to be in the team and get a chance. And when you get a chance, you make the most of it. And they're certainly doing that. So Dashun Shanaka, the captain, facing Markram. He's right-handed, and Markram comes round the wicket right-handed. No run there, straight back down the pitch to the bowler. 62 for 4, 2 balls to go in the 10th. Dasun Shanaka facing Markram again. This one goes across the right-hander. No spin there into the gloves of Quinton de Kock. The back foot cut shot was missed. Still 62 for 4. Ooh, so nearly the top edge there. Dasun Shanaka straight back to the bowler, bump ball. Caught by Markram, but there's no chance of a wicket there. 62 for 4, 10 overs gone. Kusal Pereira is still there, 31 off, 24. And Dasun Shanaka has faced 3 balls, I think. He's faced 3 for no run. Sri Lanka 62 for 4 after 10. Run rate achieved now down to 6.2. As you see, some wide shots of the ground there. It's now very much night time in Colombo. That'll be great if we can whitewash this T20 series, Tim, because Sri Lanka have to play the qualifiers, hey? Did they outright go through, or they still playing the qualifiers, aren't they? In the World Cup.
Is that for the
T20
Sorry,
World Cup?
I'm just looking at Malinka's stats. Malinka's announced his retirement from all forms of cricket today. If you've missed that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a legend of the game taking a step back. Meanwhile, Keshav Maharaj into the attack, and Kusal Pereira played this one out to deep mid-wicket, 63 for 4, getting a single there to get off strike. And Dasun Shanaka, captain versus captain. Can Keshav Maharaj get rid of his opposite number here? Very nicely done there. Almost a wicket for Keshav Maharaj, just beating the outside edge, forward defensive by Dasun Shanaka. And Maharaj getting some turn there, beating the outside edge. That's more like it. From Maharaj. Comes in again. He's got a slip in as well on Midland leg. And this one is full, but just worked out to mid-wicket. It's picked up by the fielder running in from the sweeping position on the boundary, and they take another single. And again, it's Dasun Shanaka with the helmet on, and Kusal Pereira with his head exposed. Our replacements are a bit late, but they are on their way. Keshav Maharaj to Kusal Pereira, the left-hander, short and pulled straight to square leg for a single. 65 for 4 is the score with 2 balls to go in the 11th.
We know what Pereira can do rather well, specifically as South African fans. We know he can turn it on at any moment. So things are going a bit slow for Sri Lanka, but we know his potential.
Keshav Maharaj striking the pads of Dasun Shanaka, but going down leg, actually striking outside leg, I think. And there's no run there. 10.5 overs gone, 65 for 4. Maharaj with the final delivery. And this one pitches on middle and leg, spins across to the off stump, but it's neatly tucked into mid-on by Dasun Shanaka, the right-hander, and they take a single. 11 overs gone, 66 for 4. Very easy to calculate the run rate now. And Maharaj 0 for 4 off his first over. So if our producers are listening, the replacements are in the green room. They're waiting to be let into the studio. But I'll happily carry on prattling away here. We see a change of bowling now, and Kusal Pereira is going to put his helmet on. But Dasun Shanaka is quite a wiry figure, so it's easy to spot him.
Cool. So at least one of us is here now. I'm streaming, so I'm a little bit behind you guys, but I was able to see that we got past the 10 over mark. And
okay, Chris, I'm going to leave you.
You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you, Chris, and take wickets. Enjoy. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, one person in particular I'd like to take a few. Sorry?
I said I'll stay until Triple comes on.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, he said he was running just a little late. I'd like to see Shamsi take a wicket or two, because right now, looking at the list of most T20 international wickets in a year, he's got 28, and the record is Andrew Ty with 31. And you'd think between this game and then, of course, the T20 World Cup, it's definitely, he just needs 3 wickets. It's a record he should break.
I reckon he will. Even
He
if we
also
have a
has
shocking
the
World Cup.
of any player with more than 20 wickets in a year in T20 internationals, he also has the lowest economy rate. An economy rate of 5.45 so far this year. Just otherworldly season from Shamsi, and it has felt like it watching him bowl. Is Dwayne Pretorius, comes in right arm over into Dasan Chanaka, who just plays it off his pads down to the man at square leg, and they go through for a single. Yeah, the Sri Lanka.
He's also
1.1. Yeah.
Shams has also got another record to get to. 50. The big 5-0. 50 T20 wickets.
Is that matches played? 50? Oh, across all the years. With 28.
His career.
Sorry, this one.
He's got 49.
Up the crease towards 20.
Yeah.
Right. So he's taken the majority of his wickets this year.
Yep. Okay.
And Seppo
Cheers,
has joined us.
guys.
How's it?
We need a. Yeah, very well. Thanks, and you. Thank you very much. Tim.
Lekker.
What shirt are you wearing?
rival
It looks like
moved
he wasn't scheduled to be here. He was just hanging around until you joined. Dwayne Pretorius right on over into
what a
Kuso Pereira, who drives this one to long off, who is Aidan Markram, and they go through for another single.
That's Sutherland High
It's not
School.
okay. Because it's not a badge that I recognized. Because it looked, I mean, Sutherland, it looks almost like it could be a Sunderland shirt with the red and white stripes.
Actually, Sunderland
relegated in consecutive years. I think, they went down 2 divisions in 2 years. The reverse Bournemouth, as Dasan Chanaka plays this one off his pad to the man at fine leg to Ray Shamsi, and they go through for another single. Just because I think Bournemouth went up something like 5 divisions in 6 years.
Yeah,
so also my
like
team during the brief time that they had Tekelo Ranti. I don't have a really any club in the UK, so I just support whoever has a South African. And for a while, it was Tekelo Ranti in Bournemouth.
Oh, shout out! I didn't even know he was there.
A couple of years ago, this one played just dabbed to Ray Shamsi. Third man. They look pretty happy to just go for singles at the moment. So far, this has been a single dot and then 3 more singles.
Yeah, no, they've been struggling to get the runs flowing.
You see images of the players showing it. Sorry, yeah.
No, please. Yeah, well, the runs have been
4 wickets down. I guess we managed to bowl them out in the last game. So, okay. Oof. I don't know if my connection's bad, but we are out of sync as this one runs away for 4 to third man. So there's a bit of a pressure release.
Yeah, no, that one was a thick edge as a Pretorius was coming over. Quinton de Kock diving very far to his right, but nowhere near it. And that just ran away to the boundary. So what was a neat over initially came with a boundary there. Sri Lanka 74 for 4. And yeah, as I was saying, wickets being lost, runs not flowing like the wickets are. So unlucky for Sri Lanka. We have some tweets here from Anne Lawson. Welcome, Anne. Lovely to hear you again. Compliments, guys. You guys are doing a brilliant job with the Sri Lankan names. I guess anyone from Andile Pitlo quiet trips of the tongue isn't going to have a problem. But when you're only used to Joe Root's 2 syllables, they sound like impressive tongue twisters.
So first delivery from Bjorn Fortain. It said Bjorn, yeah.
Say again?
They changed their mind.
Oh.
As to who was bowling. So Pereira is a single. That's all. I think I have a massive delay on my end. I'm sorry that I keep interrupting you. As the second is a rushed.
Please.
The second run of the second delivery is a rushed single. There's a chance at a run out, but it goes past the wickets and the batsman might have been saved as well. So again, 2 singles off 2 deliveries in this over. Our Sri Lankan pronunciations, I think, are helped by the fact that we had Nero for a couple of games, who is able to guide us in the right direction as a Sri Lankan citizen. Keshav Maharaj into Kusal Pereira, plays this one off his pads to square leg, and it's another single. 3 singles off the first 3 deliveries, and Sri Lanka 77 4 after 12.3.
And I guess just the name of the game. I like familiarizing myself with teams when you play against them. You know, first game, second game, if you're struggling, it's fine. But third game, if you're still Dungeon Jaja, then come on, bro. As a commentator, you need to get your act together.
Another rushed single off the fourth delivery of it's over. So very much the name of the game, just rotate the strike. Dan and Jai, I think, is one that we all knew because we've seen him play quite a few times. But there are a lot of new names in the Sri Lankan squad. And I was saying to Nero, it's our first time seeing them and we're having to commentate on them. So it's not like we could have heard their names watching any of the other broadcasts too. This one is swept and it looks like it's going to run down to square leg, stopped just short of the boundary by Bjorn Mulder. And they've probably gone through for 2 after a million singles. Yes, 2 off that one. So 6 off the first 5 deliveries of the over. Just about the rate that they're going at across this whole innings, as they're going at 6.23.
Which probably won't be enough in the long term.
Yeah. Oh, LBW appeal here. Keshamar and that makes sense. It looks like it's been reviewed, but I saw very little wrong with that. If anything, maybe pitching outside leg, but it looked like it was pitching on leg, straightened enough that it was probably hitting middle and maybe 3/4 of the way up the wickets. That maybe a desperation review. Kusal Pereira is the man scoring all of Sri Lanka's runs today. They can't afford to lose him. No problem with the front foot there, as one would hope from both your captain and, more importantly, a finger spinner. Should never be bowling.
Just hitting the roll of the pad, so it's not going to be high. This man is banking on it pitching outside leg. If it doesn't, this man is going to be a goner. Just seeing a front view for Ultra Edge as well. Middle stump. Ooh, it looks like it's going to get clubbed by this ball. Hey, this one is 100% desperation in my book. Eh?
Definitely no inside edge. And pitching middle and leg, hitting middle and leg. That's out as out.
Oh, wow.
As out can be. But they needed Kusal Pereira there. He's been their magic man in the past. And he was their magic man up until this point. He managed to score 39 of Sri Lanka's 80 runs so far, just 33 deliveries, 3 boundaries, and that strike rate of 118, which is strike rate in the innings so far.
He was looking.
And with that, a lot of hopes.
Yeah, please.
And Tim the Cricket guy says, Shamsi is 1 short of 50 T20 wickets. Will be the 20th fastest in the world and fourth South African after Tahir, Steyn, and Rula Vanamava.
Shout out.
And the leading T20 wicket taker in the year so far, at least in internationals. Tabraiz Shamsi sitting on 28 wickets so far this year, just 3 behind the all-time record for most wickets in a year by AJ Ty. That's Andrew Ty, who's sitting on 31. Well, got 31 wickets in 2018. As a new man out is going to be Winindu Hasaranga, a man who's been billed consistently as an all-rounder, but I don't know if he's put in any amazing feats with the bat in recent times. But it's definitely been a spinner that's exposed a couple of weaknesses in the South African side in the past.
Yeah, I feel like this guy's basically Pet Lokwayo as a spinner in Sri Lanka. As you say, being touted as an all-rounder, even coming into the series, I thought, these Sri Lankans actually, they bat quite deep. But I haven't seen him score much over 10 in the series. And he hasn't really done anything convincing with the bat. So he has a chance now to pull something out the hat. But against these South African spinners, I never thought I'd say those words. But against these South African spinners, that's good. It looks like it's going to be pretty tough. Bjorn Fontaine even into attack now.
Yeah, Bjorn Fontaine is just spin after spin after spin. Obviously, he's also bowling his left arm finger spin, similar to Mirage. He's coming around the wicket for the left-hander into the right-hander Dasan Shanaka, dabs it into the covers, and they go through for quite a quick single. Quinton de Kock tries to be cute as the wicketkeeper behind the wickets, trying to rebound it, but nothing was going to happen there. Just it looks cool. So the end result is a single for the captain, and Hasaranga is going to have to face his first delivery.
Tell me, Chris, are you young and naive like me? Is this team making you believe in a possible trophy in the T20 World Cup?
England and India are so scary that right now my target, I'll be happy if we make it to the semis. I think it'll be a good achievement if we beat the West Indies and Australia to get out of the group stages, and then maybe we'll get a favorable semi, as this one's defended up in the air of Hasaranga. Quinton de Kock tries his best to get there, but not quite quick enough. Bjorn Fontaine looks almost, he looks upset with Quinton de Kock, almost like you should have got that. But it would have been an amazing catch if Quinny had managed to run around the wickets and the batsman to get onto the pitch in time to catch that. He apologizes, but I don't think he has too much to apologize for. That wasn't an easy catch by any means. Bjorn Fortuin. And again, this one is played late by Hasaranga, just beats the fielder at points, and that it won't run away to the boundary, as I think Adam Markram there's a sweeper on the offside. And so they've gone through to 2.
Competent captaincy, my friend. Haven't been seeing a lot of boundaries here. No boundaries coming without luck at all. So it's been not just it's been a very tight innings. I mean, we're into the 14th over, and Sri Lanka haven't even gotten over 100 yet. So South Africa Sri Lanka haven't gotten over 100 yet. Oh, this one lofted over the infield. Yeah, go. Sorry.
It was a loosest delivery down leg where Hasaranga, I'll just keep doing that because I'm not even happy with the way I said it the last time, but it went down leg. Hasaranga gave himself a lot of space, drove it over the covers, but again, it fell just short of Adam Markram, who's sweeping there on the offside boundary. It bounces once before reaching him, and he throws it in, and they go through for another 2. Hasaranga's 4 of 3. Sri Lanka's 85 for 5. Bjorn Fortuin, and again, this one driven straight to the man on the ring. He's out. Bjorn Fortuin gets his second of the match, and that's the end of Hasaranga. So he was looking good up until that point, I suppose, but he ends up with a runnable 4 for all his worries as Keshav Maharaj, the captain there, does the catching.
Get out of here. Trying to hit a proper drive. He did get the middle of the bat, but as Chris said, straight to Maharaj, just camping there at cover. Unfortunately, Hasaranga proving us right once again, not scoring over 10 today, only 4 of 4. Hey, Sri Lanka, you're not giving us a game for us to prepare. But hey, maybe these spinners are doing the things here. It's hectic things. We're expecting this type of display, Chris. Coming into the third game, we're expecting us to dominate again.
Yeah, I thought that there's a chance that South Africa gets complacent. We've seen that a bit in the T20 series, or we experiment a bit going into the later games once we've seen some success. But it looks like we're happy to stick with our first choice 11, and we've backed them. And I'm not really surprised that our spinners are doing the damage. We've seen it in the West Indies. We've seen them do it against Ireland. What was once South Africa's biggest weakness is probably our biggest asset going into this T20 World Cup, where we do have a battery of very competent spinners.
Doesn't that
Lahiru Madakshana? It makes me believe we can make the semis. England, we would have to play a good game, and I think England would have to play a bad game for us to beat them. And similar with India, it's not just, we can play our best game, and if they play an okay game, they might still have the firepower to blow us out. And I think we're playing them playing England at Sharjah in the group stages, which is a very small boundary, and that England batting order really could tear into our spinners. As it is Bjorn Fortuin. I think I was just thinking of spinners in the World Cup, and my mind went to Shamsi's. Bjorn Fortuin into Madashane, just defends it into the onside. That's a single off the last delivery of the 14th. Sri Lanka 86 for 6, and Mickey Arthur is looking a little bit miffed.
Oh, Mickey Cam. I'm glad it's not on Mark Boucher all the time. Anyway, man's been coming under scrutiny. But I was watching an interview that Quinton de Kock gave, and one of the quotes from the interview is that he has a good feeling about the side, and maybe it's just me and my positivity. I've been told I'm quite the optimist, but I also get a good feeling here. England can hit us out the park. Yes, that's true, but we might not have the big hitters, but I feel like we have the bowlers to be able to defend any total. We've been defending 160 on a constant basis, so I don't see it far-fetched to believe that we could take the likes of England, India. We could do it.
Madhushankar defends Maharaj back up the crease for no run. He comes in again. He's putting left arm around the wickets into the right-hander, who dabs this. It looks like there's going to be a run out. Yeah, Madhushankar was so eager to get off the strike. He makes his way three quarters of the way down the pitch before his captain says, no, I'm not running. And he has no chance of getting back before the ball's fired back into Quinton de Kock. And that's a comedy run out. And we get Mickey Cam very shortly after the last time. He looks so grumpy. So that's now, yeah, the end of Madhushanka. Comedy run out. It's just a classic part of the Mickey Arthur cricket side. And Shanka
Ooh. Zing.
86 for 7 bail off, almost like an umpire does before you go for tea.
Oof
the
central.
ball in his
Yo, that
hands.
Mickey Arthur comments.
Yeah, Liru Madhushanka
Shoo,
has gone
wow.
for 1 off 3.
That is heavy, man.
I don't know. Maybe
That is
he's just the coach who comes up on camera the most. And
True, especially when we
comedy
play
runouts
against him.
followed by his face. Yeah,
Oh man,
he's had his
Yeah,
work
but-
cut out from, and he always, you can't hide. They'll find a camera in the right angle to find it behind pillars, behind as many layers of glass.
they'll find you.
They'll always
The
find a way
camera
to find
people will
Mickey
find
Arthur.
you. Maybe you should find a place to sit that the cameras can't find, but then the players can't see you either. Then you're out. Maybe he enjoys it. That would be weird.
He wants to be a celebrity after coaching, and so trying to keep his face around. Yeah, we haven't seen, they don't cut to Mark Boucher at all, really. Shamika Karunaratne is going to be the new man in. This is just going to be his. Okay, no, he has batted in most of his T20 innings, and he's got a very respectable T20 international average of 22.5 at a strike rate of, high score of 22, average of 22.5, strike rate of 125. Obviously, limited sample size. Keshav Maharaj into him. No LBW appeal there, but I thought it was a pretty good delivery from the third delivery of the 15th rather, from Keshav Maharaj, who has so far taken 1 for 10 in 2.5 overs. And again, this one almost gets the thick outside edge, and we almost get another comedy run out as he makes his way about a quarter of the way down the pitch before being sent back by his captain Shanaka. That really, we would have seen a couple of memes about it, I reckon, if Shanaka ran out 2 of his men in the same over in almost identical ways.
It's just too tight here. That's what it is. Too damn tight.
And I'm back. I don't know if I disappeared for a bit. Everything was loading there.
Oh no, you were fine.
On YouTube,
Did you get the
Content
fifth
versus
ball?
thanks stock, which he tends to do. Keshav. Yeah, well, the 5th ball, and now the 6th one has been defended to Bjorn Fortuin in the covers. That's the end of the 15th over. Sri Lanka 86 for 7. Yeah, I just had all my
86.
little screens go black with the loading symbol, so I thought I went out for a bit.
The colorful is if you had a Mac, it would probably be the colorful circle of death. Oh man. But Sri Lanka in trouble here, 86 for 7 after 15 overs. What's the score that the Sri Lanka will be hoping to get? Do you think it's just let's just get over 100 this time and see if we can defend that? Do you think they'll be going for 120? 5 overs left. That's actually longer than you'd expect. As this one tickled to the leg side, Bjorn Fontaine into the attack. We've lost Chris. Heartbroken. Bjorn Fontaine coming into the attack, looking good, doing his hair once more. Keen to get onto the wicket score sheets because he's also already got himself into the T20 squad. This one dragged down a little bit, and Shanaka just cuts this one straight to the man at deep cover. Gets himself a single. 87 for 7 at the moment. Oh, Chris, are you back? I see you moving.
Hopefully the internet's here for a bit. Yeah, no, it was happening over and over again where it was loading and you would stop talking for a bit, but obviously it was just my connection. So I tried not to interrupt you, although I may have done it now. Bjorn Fortuin into Karunaratne. There's an LBW appeal, but nothing's given there as Quinton Acock runs out to mid-wicket to do the fielding. That's another dot delivery. Yeah, even 120 seemed pretty ambitious from the position that they're in. With 4.5 overs left.
We have
they can't seem to get it away. Brilliant.
Yeah.
This one played just past the bowler. Oh, the bowler. Bjorn Fortuin makes his way to long on, and they go through for a single. Sorry for stepping on your toes again.
No worries, dude. Let's just live with it now. That's just the COVID chats that we're going to have here. Thanks to going online, we're going to be stepping on toes. So I'm not too bothered about that. I'll hit the tweets at the end of the over. I think it's a good one. It's one that I'm enjoying reading right now.
Thick outside edge goes down to third man, but there's no thought of a run. Darson Shanaka, he's turned down a few runs since he's come to the crease, but he's sitting on 12 of 16. One ball left in the 16th over. He plays it just down leg, and he's happy to keep the strike for the next over as they go through for a single. Sri Lanka are going to find themselves 89 for 7 after 16 tweets.
Yes, the tweets. We have one from Leia. Great to hear from you, Leia. Don't worry too much about England. They can't bat against spin for poop on a dust bowl in the UAE. Am I allowed to say shit on air? Is that
we can. It's something we haven't done in a while. There's only one word right when this started that we said we weren't going to say, and it's been said a couple of times by accident when people haven't. But it is
But if you're quoting someone, I guess.
I mean, anything discriminatory, obviously, we wouldn't say. But then also, the thing that runs with kicking a rugby ball quite far. This one played through the covers on the offside. Again, Adam Akram's going to be the sweeper there, and they go through for a single.
Rhymes with kicking a rugby ball.
So 90 for 7 now.
I'm even trying to figure out that.
We'll let that one ruminate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is Keshav Maharaj bowling his final over now. He's had an amazing economy rate. He's gone for just 11 runs in 3.1 overs. This one is played into the onside. It looks like they're probably going to go through for 2, and in the end they do. So 13 now runs off Keshav Maharaj's bowling, and Sri Lanka find themselves 92 for 7.
Karunaratne getting the 2 runs there. I'm wondering if Karunaratne is like a surname like Smith, a very common surname in Sri Lanka. But I wonder how common.
I think De Silva or Pereira are probably the Smiths. Those are the ones we see a lot of. There's another single here, quickly run by Karunaratne and Shanaka as it goes into the offside. And so now Sri Lanka 93 for 7. Shanaka will face the next. Keshav Maharaj has gone for 14. And if you check the YouTube comments, someone's given you a clue as to the word we don't say.
I'm going to go check those comments right now.
This one left alone by Darson Shanaka. Keshav Maharaj gets quite a lot of purchase with his left arm finger spinner, turns away from the batsman pretty prolifically and is left alone. So he gets another dot ball there. This one almost Yorker length in at Darson Shanaka, defended up the crease, and that's going to be another dot. So one ball left in the 17th. Maharaj
choke.
Oh no, not that one.
Okay,
you can. We make jokes about not saying that. Yeah.
Okay, so choke.
Some people might take offense. I don't mind you saying choke, as this one's also left alone. There's a chance it'll be wide. I don't think it has. And so Keshav Maharaj finishes with brilliant figures of 1 wicket. Well, 4 overs, 1 wicket, 14 runs, and an economy rate of 3.5. And he's also bowled a maiden, which is pretty damn rare in T20 international cricket. It's been the only maiden of this innings so far.
Maharaj
Sean B on YouTube says, "Can we blame Mickey for this poor performance?" Sorry. Do you think he'll lose his job? I don't know.
That's a good question.
I was listening to, because we had Estelle on our podcast afterwards, and there seems to be a thought that Mickey Arthur is sort of going to be tenured till just after the World Cup, and then his position was in jeopardy anyway. I think they're trying to move on from him, and maybe he'll go find another country to coach for. He's already coached 4 different international sides, which I think must be a record, if not pretty close to it. South Africa, Australia, Pakistan, and currently Sri Lanka. Tabraiz Shamsi is going to be back into the attack. Maybe he can pick up those last 3 wickets and equal the record for the most wickets in a calendar year in T20 internationals.
Yeah, just thinking about Mickey Arthur now and his job as a Sri Lankan coach, I don't think his job is similar to his job as like the Australian coach or the South African coach. You're not at the top half of the table. The expectations for, if we're talking Premier League, a Chelsea manager and the expectations for a Brighton manager are 2 different expectations, and you need to know which team you are,
So Karunaratne plays a big shot here, but it doesn't make it further than the man at square leg, and they go through for a quick single off that one. So Darson Shanak will take strike. Obviously, Taresh Shamsi is going to continue bowling his left arm wrist spin around the wickets into the right-handed. Oh no, he's actually left arm over rather into Darson Shanak. This is quite a good sweep from the man, but it doesn't make it further than a short fine leg, and so that's a dot delivery. Sri Lanka still less than 117.2 overs in. They're sitting 94 for 7.
South Africa 3 wickets away from getting them under 100. 3 wickets aren't easy to get, but these spinners make it look so damn easy.
Yeah, the wickets, I guess, once you get into the tail, you imagine that they can't score quickly enough that they make a massive difference. Darson Shanak is going to be the one to score the runs if Sri Lanka are going to put up a presentable total. Is he's happy to relinquish the strike again, goes for a single, and we get a cut to, I think that's Grant Flower, the Sri Lankan batting coach, who looks,
oh wow,
he's got a Mickey-esque face on him, looking pretty disappointed as well in the performance. So, yeah, because although we lost the ODI series, I guess right now most teams are a little bit more worried about T20 cricket with the World Cup just around the corner at the moment. And if you're losing 3-0 at home, that's got to be pretty
not good. Not good.
Pretty setting. As there's another single here. 2 were run there, in fact. Either way, Sri Lanka 96 for 7 at the moment. And yeah, Darson Shanak has to start putting pressure on these bowlers. He has to put some runs together so that they can defend it. And he pulls out a beautiful reverse sweep that just goes above, but also between point and gully. And he is actually rewarded with a 4 there. And he brings up the Sri Lankan 100 in style. 100 runs now off 17.5 overs, 7 wickets. Last Shanak is on 18 of 24. Karunaratne lands on 6 off 10.
Shoo. What a classy shot. A reverse sweep turned a very full delivery into a pie of a full toss and just pierced the gap between third man and square leg. Absolute. Oh, sorry, not third. Third man and point. Sorry, because he's right-handed. Yeah. Ish. The other sides are just tough.
This one,
classy.
Shanak on the crease tries to have a big swing at it, but it beats the bat, hits his pads, and drills into the onside. Shamsi has a little grin about that fact. Shanak, we've got a few more YouTube comments. I don't know if you want to run through those.
Yeah, I was about to dive into them. Lorenzo Bailey saying Keshav is clearly a much better captain than Bavuma. He's clearly leading by example, something Bavuma can't do. Bavuma is in any case not a T20 player. Some expected Bavuma hate. I'm not surprised. Lorenzo, shout out. One thing that is true, Keshav is leading by example. And I mean, these conditions are perfect for him. And you know what? I was thinking about this. Should I feel confident that we're going to have some decent results or show have a decent showing in the World Cup after these Sri Lanka results? Because obviously Sri Lanka aren't one of the top sides. They're even competing in the before the Super 12. They need to find their place there.
Yeah, so and I think they're in the group with Ireland and the Netherlands, which can be very good T20 sides on their day.
They can. So something, I'm not sure if we should feel good about that.
Mulder's going to be bowling the penultimate over here.
I
do like Maharaj's captaincy. I like that it's brought a lot more spin into our game. We saw the fact that Maharaj bowled 40 overs of spin in that third ODI. We ended up losing it, but I do think we need a spin forward captain. But then also a couple of rookie errors, like not having the right number of fielders inside the ring during the power play, which resulted in a no ball. As Vion Mulder, he's bowling his first over, which is the penultimate over, and he's driven here for his single. Yeah, it's limited sample sizes. I don't have a problem with Tamba's captaincy either. And I think Keshav can still influence the side and some of the decisions just as a senior player within it without having to be the captain.
And he sort of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I understand different points of view on that. Yeah, Keshav Maharaj getting the captaincy in his first ever T20 game. Obviously the first South African to do that since Graham Smith, which was our first ever T20 international. I think George Bailey might have done something 6 years ago.
Lorenzo, tell us if there's any relation. Shout out. Sean
But-
B says, surprised to hear that Mickey will be
Yeah,
let
it's-
go after the World Cup. I wonder what happens if they do very well. Then he'll keep his job. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I think
I'm joking.
curiously, the director of cricket there, I think, is Tom Moody, as this one is skied. Shanaka goes for the big shot, picks out Rassie van der Dussen at long on. Bjorn Mulder
Got
ties
it!
1 for 1 after 2. He's not going to be complaining too much that he gets to come in and bowl at the tail for a bit, maybe get a couple of wickets and make his numbers look a little bit better. But that is an important wicket. As we were saying, Shanaka, the only recognized batsman in this lineup, he is the captain, who relatively new captain. I think he came in for that India series. This is the second series, won the ODIs, but now is on the wrong side of a bit of a rollicking from the South Africans, the T20 series. So in the end, he's gone for 18 of 26, 2 4s in that, no 6s. Pretty slow strike rate, but that's been the way it has gone in its entirety. Pretty slow throughout. And right now, Sri Lanka 101 for 8, and we'll see if they're able to last all 20 overs.
I'm really liking the look of Bjorn Mulder. Really am. Pitlock Kwayo's probably looking at this like, sure, he could. His spot is up for grabs here because Bjorn Mulder is doing the job properly.
Kwayo's spot is gone. Yeah, Kwayo's spot's gone. He's not in the T20 World Cup squad.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah.
But I mean, within the larger squad. Yeah, that's the
Perhaps.
thing. Within the larger squad, his spots is he's not as established as he used to be, and Bjorn Mulder's making it even more difficult to justify his place in the team. If Mulder just like bats earlier, gets 20 runs at a decent strike rate, I mean, like we'll probably forget his name. We'll have an easier name to say in future, which is sad. I was glad that we had that long name. Oh.
So Karunaratne faces the next delivery, and he gets a very thick inside edge, which runs down to fine leg, and they go through for 2 there. Slightly unlike it was an off cutter that ended up getting the wicket. I don't know if it just slowed down on the pitch, and so Shanaka was a little bit too early on it, and yeah, just picked out Rassie van der Dussen perfectly. He had to run in a little, but pretty much down his throat. And he's a competent man under the high ball.
Indeed. Oh. This one.
Bjorn Mulder in again, right on over into Karunaratne. It's a foolish, wideish delivery, and Karunaratne gets right beneath it. What a fantastic stick going at more. He's 4 delivery. A bit too short, letting Karunaratne get underneath it.
Yeah, that was a scintillating drive, clearing the inner ring, clearing the outer ring, and clearly a very, very good shot from Karunaratne.
Right on over again, penultimate delivery of the penultimate over. It's a jumps on Karunaratne.
Don't worry, Chris. Don't stop talking when you're talking. Just keep going. I'll just hop in at another time. And if I'm in the middle of a sentence, I won't stop until I'm done.
Cool. I was worried that no one was hearing me at all then. So then I did just stop talking, especially with Mpho saying, asking if you can take over ball by ball. I'll happily you go over ball, take over ball by ball, and I'll just try fill in the odd gap.
Awesome. We have Chimera on strike facing his first delivery. Tries to take a step to the offside to drag this to the leg side. Kyle Corner picks this up. They pick up a single, and that ends the 19th over. The volume button is just in front of the scorecard here. 111 for 8 are Sri Lanka.
Yeah, Nelson. It's a shame that Ruud's not on the broadcast with us. Seems like he's avoiding me. Or at least he can't come during. I think
Don't worry.
I felt this at the moment. So he's.
I felt the same about Anis But we're building to Boxing Day. Hashtag building to Boxing Day. Don't forget, it's going to be a vibe. Anissa now on the same stream. It's going to be, you guys aren't ready. You won't be ready. It's next level. And it's the last over here. Sri Lanka and Nelson. Shamsi into Bolet. It's going to be hot. It's going to be a great over here. And 120 not as unattainable as it was earlier in the day. Shamsi coming in, left arm over, double step down the ground, but driven straight to long off.
Almost always bowl the last two overs with our seamers. So maybe this is more spin forward captaincy from Keshav. The fact that
something's telling me, as much as it's spin led from Keshav Maharaj, he's just the captain that's in charge of this team. I feel like the three spinners was definitely part of the plan from the selectors going into this entire series. This approach as well is just absolutely fantastic. Big ups to the whole team. What we've heard post match as Shamsi comes over the wickets of this one, played straight to long on no run there. What we've heard is that the job's been relatively easy for Maharaj because most of the team is basically just set up. It's got a clear thing going, but yeah. Shamsi coming in for the third ball, and Karunaratne set himself up to send this all the way over the square leg boundary, but he missed the delivery altogether. Shamsi just following him to the offside, and completely missed that one. Did Karunaratne. 112 for 8. 3 balls left. Once again, Karunaratne setting himself up. Doesn't want to rotate the strike. He wants to take on Shamsi. He wants to be the guy to do it. Preferring a dot ball as Quinton de Kock misses this one. Shamsi absolutely class bowling, following the batsman. Nowhere near it in the end was Karunaratne. Chris, tell me you're there.
Yeah, I don't know. So I am here, but there's going to be such a delay that I'm going to end up interrupting you because now, if I were to try and guess the delay from the way you respond, it's almost 15 seconds. So the chances of me stepping on your toes are monumental.
That is mad. This one driven straight to long on. They get themselves 2 runs, a quick 2 there. And we have the last ball of the over coming in just now. 114 for 8. Sri Lanka. We're seeing KG Rabada with his fresh cut Chiscorp. Yo, I wasn't expecting that, bruh. Yo, Chiscorp so early. You're still so young. Oh, Shamsi, a bit of a hesitation in his step. And there it is. Karunaratne finds the middle of the bat and sends this all the way to the boundary, all the way to the sands. And there is 120 for 8 for Sri Lanka. Shamsi shouting into his cloth like a teenage girl shouting into a pillow after they've been disappointed by their parents. A bit of a hesitation there by Shamsi before that delivery. Didn't look certain when he bowled that and got sent to the stands. With that, we've ended the innings 120.
Yeah, so in the end, Sri Lanka managed to put together that 120 that I said would have been ambitious.
Keep going.
Okay, sorry. And then, Jamaica Karunaratne, the man to do it, 20 to bowl Sri Lanka in the end, 128 wickets. I think after what we saw happen in that third ODI, we thought, 200, we should be able to get 200 anytime, but it's an older pitch now, and it's doing enough for the spinners.
Yes, indeed. Just quickly going to run through some YouTube comments. Lorenzo Bailey with 2 Bavuma comments saying, Bavuma will destabilize our team. with an exclamation mark. Him and Rassie are both the same players. We saw they batted together in the West Indies and how the runs stagnated. And then just a thumbs up from Prasad Singh. Shout out Prasad. Thanks for listening. And Lorenzo Bailey finally says, mate, it's not about Bavuma hate. It's about facts. Bavuma did nothing in T20 cricket to justify selection. Victor had to select him. He's made him captain. You can't tell me he's better than Yanaman Malan. I actually can. You can check the stats. He has a few century. He has a half century to his name and a few scores just over 40. So he did do a few things to justify that. So I'd recommend you go check out his stats.
I'll also
Yeah, please.
So on the Bavuma thing, it's also everyone always he's the one who gets singled out, saying Yanaman Malan's better than Bavuma. You could also say Malan's probably better than Heinrich Klaassen, and Bavuma's good chance you could say is better than Heinrich Klaassen. But Bavuma is the one that people always say needs to not be there. Someone was saying that Faf du Plessis should be there. He just scored a first class, a domestic T20 100, something Temba Bavuma's done, but something that neither Eda Markram nor Heinrich Klaassen have ever done. So look at any player in that top 6 that a player can come in and replace. Don't always think that it's Temba Bavuma that has to go.
And Ray PMB9, that's great to see you again, saying, don't get excited, Sri Lanka aren't qualified for the World T20. Thanks for quelling my excitement. And then finally, he says, against England, it's going to be tough with 5 batsmen. And that's all we have for you today. During the innings break, you're going to get our last full quota podcast talking about the women's Proteas team. So stick around and we'll be right back.
Yes, thanks, Sippo. Thanks, Chris. We'll be back at the end of the innings break. But in between, we did a discussion on the World T20 squad last week, Thursday. A lot of anger, especially considering how this team has done well afterwards. But lots of discussions to be had, and we'll have even more after the break. So do listen and tune in to our show. Okay, thanks. To the Full Quota podcast on One World Sports Radio. This is your South African cricket podcast where you can come through, ask us questions. We talk about all things South African cricket. And so today, we'll be talking about the squad announcement that happened earlier today. We've had a couple of hours to digest it all, so we're going to have a very, very interesting conversation about that. And we'll talk about the domestic season, the announcements and the changes to the new season. And we'll talk about the ODI season. I know the Proteas lost on Tuesday or next week, Wednesday, with also the T20 series and what we have learned, what we haven't learned going forward, because somehow we seem to be going one step forward and 2 steps back. I'm joined by Tim. Tim, how are you doing?
Good. Missed the last couple, but I'm glad to be back on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we have missed you. Just to remind you that we're still we're still broadcasting the South African tour to Sri Lanka. The games are there. We're going to start with the T20s. I think the time is 3:30 now, not 4:30. As the SA time. And also, so Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday are the T20s. But remember, please do subscribe to our channel as well to be notified whenever we go live for this. So, Werner Erasmus saying, I still haven't fully recovered from the George Linde exclusion. We're going to talk about that. But how was that announcement, that hour of launch and squad announcement? Like, I got to a point where I was like, okay, fine, I understand everyone needs to talk, but not everybody needs to talk. Like, we even went to Corey Van Sale.
I think, and I did tweet it at the time, I think that half an hour of that should have been done. We had the T20 Knockout Challenge press conference. When that was announced, half of that, all all those Corey van Sale and people could have made it then. This it should have just been World Cup and domestic fixtures. It should have kept it short and sweet. Yeah, go on.
I think for me, the one thing that irritated me a lot was the squad announcement was only 10 minutes. And I would have loved Graham Smith, Victor Pitsang, Mark Boucher to be asked questions, probably prepared by the Supersport panel, or I'm assuming Crystal, in front of the nation to explain all of these things, because Twitter went into a meltdown asking for Victor Pitsang to go out, asking for why Faf's not there, asking for so many things. And to me, that could have been easily handled because the people who knew were us, because we're in the press conference. I was laughing my head off in the press conference. I'm wow. Are those some of the answers that are being given? And we'll tell you about those answers. But so I just was like, okay, guys, like, honestly, you should have given a lot more. Maybe even have Pommy in Sri Lanka ask questions and stuff like that. Maybe even have some of the players. I was happy that Timber's back. If you want to know about Timber Bavuma, he'll be out for a month. So he'll be ready for the World Cup. Well, he'll be ready for the start of the qualifiers, essentially. So he's gonna have like 2 weeks of accelerated batting, essentially. But what we came here was for the team. The World T20 Squad was announced, and these are the names: Temba Bavuma, Reza Hendricks, Heine Klaassen, Keshav Maharaj, Aidan Markham, Anuk Nokia, Dwayne Pretorius, Quinton de Kock, Vian Mulder, David Miller, Bjorn Fortuin, Lungi Ngidi, Kagiso Rabada, Rassi van der Dissen, and Tebre Shamsi. There are traveling reserves, 3 of them in George Linda and Lepe Sugayo and Lazard Williams. Let's start talking about the first one, the biggest one, I think, that was key. The exclusion of George Linda and the inclusion of a man who hasn't made his T20 debut in Keshav Maharaj. George Linda's played 11 T20s for South Africa in a row, and he doesn't make it to the World Cup. Tim, what did George do wrong and what did Keshav do right?
I'm also going to add Bjorn Fortuin to the picture in this.
Okay.
Because we know what Keshav can do, and he's done well domestically in the T20 format. Yes, it is surprised that he hadn't been given more T20 cricket beforehand, which I think is a mistake from Cricket South Africa, which has now created this furore in this particular situation. But you've also got Bjorn Fortuin, who's played 4 of the last 12, compared to George Linda, who's played 11 of the last 12. And in that situation, I did say in commentary beforehand, I did say during the West Indies, I said, to secure his place, George has got to score runs. I didn't necessarily think it was right, but I just got this impression. If he wasn't going to score runs when he got those little bits of batting that he got on the odd occasion, I thought that might count against him. And that in the end has unfortunately cost him. I think it is wrong. I think it's
can I just hold you there for a little, because you were going to get to that. When they asked Victor Mpitsang about George Linda, right? He felt that George Linda's bowling was actually what got him out the side. That George Linda didn't bowl at the top of the innings, compared to Bjorn Fortuin and Keshav Maharaj. So it wasn't the runs in the end, which is disappointing because I want him there because he can bat.
Yeah, that's true. Victor did say that, but he misses a point. If you look at the career stats of Bjorn Fortuin and Linda, you would perhaps say that Fortuin is marginally the better bowler. Stats say otherwise. George Linda averages 22 with the ball. Fortuin averages 23 with the ball. It's small, but Linda stats are better. His economy is also better. and his economy is better than Fortuyn's. It's just over 7, whereas Fortuyn's is nearly 7.5. So in every factor, George Linder is the better player.
And then the next big question, the question that was on everyone's mind, because they also didn't play Bjorn Fortuyn, which is what
It's a problem.
which is what Werner asked. Why wasn't he picked ahead of Linda in the West Indies or Ireland? Only at the last, like literally, this is like you're running the 100 meters. You've been leading the 100 meters for 95 of those meters. Okay, 98. And the guy who's at number 4 and number 3 beat you to the silver medal. You don't even medal at the Olympics. You're sitting at 4 now, and you have lost your silver and your bronze by guys who you didn't even think they would be there. Like, for instance, Keshav Maharaj, and I hope this happens tomorrow, is going to be making his debut for South African T20s. 3 games before a World Cup, Keshav Maharaj is making his debut.
It speaks to muddled thinking, doesn't it? It speaks to a selection committee who don't actually know what they're doing. That is a huge problem. That is a huge problem. Keshav Maharaj should have been in the T20 squad for the last 12 months.
He should have been playing. Not even in the squad. He should have been playing. The guy's been in the squad. He's never got a debut. And all of a sudden, we're going to be expecting, what happens if Kesh has a mare of a Sri Lanka series? You're stuck. And that's what I want to talk about this squad later on. Next question for me.
So we're back. How's it? Yes, we're ready to go. Just hearing you guys just angry at selectors there at the last podcast. How do you guys feel? How do you feel about it now? We've seen them bowl all 3 games now. How do you feel?
As I said
your opinion as well.
As I said at the time, people like Fortuyn are not bad bowlers. They're good bowlers. But it's the thinking that went behind the selections that I still don't understand. I still have no good answer why George Linder, or a proper answer why George Linder went in front of Linder. I still don't know.
But you were told George Linder can't bowl at the top of an innings.
Yeah, I know.
Look, the reasoning behind the selections, the way in which they went about it throughout the last 12 T20s was just brain fade-ish. It spoke of a selection panel that had no I don't know, clarity of thought. Because the thing for me was nobody knew whether Kesh is a good T20 bowler or not. Their assumption was no, he bowls in test matches, so he's okay. But
the one-day series.
Yes, but we never actually saw him in T20s, and this cross-format thinking could have landed them in a whole lot of trouble. It's working now against one of the worst oppositions you'll ever get to face in T20 cricket, and I'm happy for them that they're taking their chances from a bowling perspective. Batting hasn't been tested. That's another situation we need to talk about. They effectively went in with a side to the tournament that had one all-rounder. That's Dwayne Pretorius. Vian Mulder can't be considered an all-rounder. He hasn't scored a score above 15 international cricket at all, let alone 30. I think his max is about 30, round about there, and now is in a test. So I don't get the thinking around the balance of the side, unless, as you've always said, Tippo, we're going to go heavy on the bowling like we're doing now, and if our bowlers have a bad day, we don't win games. That's essentially what these guys are effectively telling us, because boundary percentage in terms of selection is very low. And to me, that's my one big issue, because you're coming up against teams whose boundary percentages are better. Even though we beat the West Indies scored more boundaries than us. Yeah, Australia will score more boundaries than us, and so will England in Sharjah. So I have an issue with that, and that's why I would have given Yanaman an opportunity, the same type of way everyone's been giving Aiden an opportunity across formats, because Yanaman's that guy that can open up an innings for you, and he's that much of a deadlier hitter than Aiden. Even though Aiden currently has a 20% boundary percentage in 2021 wearing Protea kit, so I'm happy about that. And
a strike at 150.
Yes, and I would
Aiden
have dropped
Markram is
Reza.
the bomb, bro.
I would have dropped Reza, but it's just the way in which guys are given opportunities as guys are not, the way in which we went about this. Because essentially, before the Sri Lanka series, we would have picked a totally different 15 to what we picked now.
Yeah.
So it just says, like, they may have gotten to the right answer, and they're increasingly lucky if they did. But the way in which they went about it says they may get further decisions in future wrong. But yeah, guys, that's it from me.
I'm so glad that we got a cheeky little Umpo rant just before the South Africans came out to bat. Reza Hendricks and Quinton de Kock going through to the middle here. 120 to get off 20 overs. And I also want to throw in my 2 cents with regards to selection. I think I'm inclined to believe that there was some sort of master plan going on the whole time. We wanted to try out a few. When I was listening to Graham Smith in the selection press conference, it sounded like we started with 40 something, went down to 30 something, and then from the West Indies series is when we were like, okay, now we want to buckle down on results, and we still wanted to test the waters. That to me is the only reason to justify why George Linder was playing as much as he was, as we see Quinton de Kock's figures here. Look at that strike rate. 136. Absolutely fantastic. A best of 79. This man is literally 301 runs away from 2,000 runs. Reza Hendricks, an average of 26, strike rates of 122. He'll be at the other end. Tim, do you want to do ball by ball or tweets?
Can I do tweets and comments? Is that all right?
Cool. That's
Thanks,
perfect. Then I'll just continue with my thing. I think that there's a master plan here. I think George Linder could count himself fortunate to have gotten so many games and not been selected. And I think that the selection process was not as brain fadey as it may seem. I think that there were plans here to give people opportunities to prove themselves in the side, while there was already a clear 11 in the coaches and the selection staff's team. Another very interesting thing that was mentioned was 7 players of color, as we see Trishanka coming through with a delivery that just is on the leg side of Reza Hendricks. He's got himself a slip. The guy that does the flicky balls. What do you call the flicky balls?
Karen balls.
Karen balls, yes. Karen with an M, or Karen like the white lady that complains, as this one played straight to a short, fine leg for no run.
N, I think.
Karen. Oh, Karen balls. Awesome. Easy to remember.
No, it's an M. Carrom.
Karom. This one on Hendricks' pads. He plays this late. A bit of a glance. The man at square leg goes to mid-wicket region to pick that up. And Hendricks is off the mark, 1 of 2. Quinton de Kock on strike. And now, but yeah, I back the selection. I think we're fine with this team. They've proved to do well. It is against the weak Sri Lankan team, but when you play against weak teams, you have to dominate. And we're dominating. That 9-wicket victory was a dominant victory. It
was.
Emphatic.
And to be fair to you, Chipper, you've been consistent. You've been consistent with your analysis. I don't agree, but you've been consistent with it. You haven't joined the this viewpoint last week. You've been there. No. You've done it for some time now. So fair enough. I hope you're right. Of course, I hope you're right.
Yes.
Only time will tell.
This one, a Yorker length delivery and just squeezed out by Quinton de Kock straight back to the bowler. Yeah, I'm going for the whole young, naive optimist. My hope hasn't been broken yet. 2015 did quite a number on me, and 2019 there was absolutely no hope there. After like the third game, I was like, "This, we're not even getting anywhere here." So there was no hope. But yeah, there's a bit of hope, you know.
Yeah, there's hope. There's hope. There's hope. Too much reliance on too many things going right for me, but yeah, there was hope. Specifically in the T20 format, I reckon 6 teams could win the World Cup, in my opinion.
Anything can happen. The last delivery was coming from around the wickets. Thikshana coming from around the wicket was a dot ball. Doing the same now. Played late by Quinton de Kock straight to point. No run there. 2 for 0 after 0.5.
I remember when I sent in you guys a message on YouTube, and I talked about Shamsi's potential milestone. Disappointed didn't make it, but I was having a look. So he would have done it in 42 matches. You know how many games Ajanta Mantias did it in?
No, 41.
26.
What?
50 wickets in 26 matches.
That is a madness, dude. What matches was he playing? Where was he playing?
Oh no, but he came on the scene like that, and he was on fire for about 2 years. He was just unplayable.
And then
eventually people started to realize that actually there wasn't much to him. But those first 2 years he was literally unplayable.
Unplayable. That is mad. That is mad. What I enjoy about the South African side is the individual stories. Aiden Markram being my favorite of them all. This feels like a coming of age for the young man. He's my age, and I can really relate to the guy. You know, he didn't really look good. He looked good in the test arena from time to time, but coming into the pajama cricket, as some would call, yes, he left a lot to be desired. But now getting himself an IPL contract and deserving it for both batting and bowling, very much giving off a JP Dumini feel. I remember Umpo mentioning as Hasaranga coming into the attack to the right-handed Hendricks, who drives this down to long off for a single. He gives off JP Dumini vibes, a batsman that could give you a little bit extra with the ball. And this tour to Sri Lanka has done wonders for his confidence. Wonders for his confidence. And now we have that 6th bowling option. Not a 6th bowler, 6th bowling option that can be used in various limited overs.
Couldn't agree more. Just missed a wide there from Hasaranga.
What?
South Africa are still 3 for that loss.
Did we miss a wide? I still haven't seen it. Oh, tragic. Oh, that is a wide. Oh, wow. Down the leg side, Quinton de Kock. Sorry about that, Tim.
No, it's okay. You were talking. What were you talking about?
I was talking about the individual stories. I was talking about Aiden Markram's story. Even Tabraiz Shamsi. Come on, Tabraiz Shamu. You know, an average bowler at best. Okay, maybe not at best. This one, a big appeal for LBW, but it looked like it firstly pitched outside leg, and impact was probably also outside leg. So the best they can get is umpire's call. They're not keen on that review at all.
I mean, all you have to do is look at Markram's numbers this year. He averages over 40 and a strike rate of 150.
That is mad.
I mean, you know, that's really impressive stuff.
This one squeezed by Quinton de Kock straight back to Hasaranga, no run.
But I do feel sorry for Malan. I gotta say, it's the same way I feel sorry for George Lipter.
This one sweep by Quinton de Kock, played straight to the man at a short fine leg, and they sneak through for a quick single. Yes, that's
the nature of World Cup squads. Somebody has to miss out.
I can see why you feel bad for Yanaman Malan, but I don't feel so bad for the man. He's doing very great in the one-day internationals, and he's definitely in the 2023 plans. And let's not forget, that is what we're focusing on. That is the long-term plan. As Reza Hendricks heaves this all the way to Kyle corner, baby. Let's go. First boundary of the day. Let's go Proteas to end the over 8-0 after that fantastic boundary by Reza Hendricks. What was I saying?
You
Reza,
were
you're just so good.
saying things were just really good. Just checking up if you've got any comments. Lorenzo
You
Bailey just
That's
says
the
that Mapaw's rant was spot on. Pretty much, which is good. Yeah, it was.
Lorenzo, you like violence, man. You chose violence. You woke up choosing violence, and that's why Umpo's your guy, bro. He's a street fighter out here. As it's not Hasarang. Oh, Quinton de Kock, a cover drive, just clearing the inner ring, and gets himself a boundary off the third over, the first ball of the third over. A very, very scintillating drive. Yeah, looking very comfortable as well.
Indeed. Quinton has made a huge difference to the side, and since he's come back after not playing in the ODIs, he makes a huge difference to our side. A real X-factor player, guy that really finds the boundary with relative ease.
And this one cut straight to Hasaranga at point, no run there. You know, I was thinking about selection and the omission of Faf du Plessis, the Imran Tahirs, the Chris Morris, you know, the Toppies, and what I enjoy about those omissions, sorry, not emissions. Emissions are bad. As this one driven. Oh, he finds the gap between cover and points, and it's running to the boundary. Oh, some good fielding wasn't enough by Shanaka. Another boundary for Quinton de Kock off the over. He's having a ball over here. 2 boundaries in 3 balls. But yes, what I enjoy about those omissions is that we're backing our youth. You know, there are many stories of Carl Abbott, for example, being like, hey, bruh, I know I'm not going to be able to play, so I'm just going to take a cold pack. Riley Rousseau as well. I mean, he was competing against A.B. de Villiers. So he was like, look, international career is basically over. I'm going to go cold pack myself. So what these types of moves show young players like Carl Verena is that there are still opportunities for you, you know. So long term, I like what the selection panel have been doing here, as this one bowled towards Quinton de Kock's legs, and he plays this down to long on. Should get 2, only chooses to go for 1. No need to rush.
I'll come back to you on that at the end of the over. Too much to say between balls.
Tim, start your runs. This is a T20. Start the run now, and then every time a ball comes, I'll just cut you off.
The communication to Morris and Tahir was appalling. Absolutely appalling. Morris was put aside when he didn't want to play one of the 3TC matches, if you remember. And I know that Smith doesn't like him. So that's it's the miscommunication that I just think is absolutely unforgivable.
This one tickled down to long on for a single, 18 for none after 3 overs.
It's fine to go young, as long as you tell Morris, Faf, and Tahir you're not being considered. But to string them along, have contact for 6 months ago. Yes, we will get back to you. Yes, you are going to be in the plans, and then go cold turkey. Tahir, I don't know if you know about Tahir's situation. So that was just sorry. That man is given to Cricket South Africa.
Screen.
Yes, center screen for me, definitely.
Get in there.
I just think, I think it's unforgivable. The lack of communication between Graham Smith and Victor Mapitsang around Imran Tahir. One of them wasn't in contact with him, while the
Hasaranga
other
continues his overs is tickled down to a cow corner for a single, 19 for 0. Continue.
While the other wasn't. Tahir sending text messages to Graham Smith, not getting anything back. Victor Mapitsang trying to send a WhatsApp message to him.
A big shot from Quinton de Kock, but he finds the gap in between fine leg and square leg and gets himself a boundary. Heave that one to the onside, and once again finding the gap just behind square. Very good shot from the former T20 captain. Continue. Sorry.
Call it Quinton trying to WhatsApp Tahir in Dubai when WhatsApp doesn't work in Dubai.
Errors.
I mean, it's just disgraceful. Sorry, the way that was managed was really, really poor from Cricket South Africa.
Yeah, high key. Look, Cricket South Africa have been coming under scrutiny as Hasaranga gives this one a little bit of flight. And Quinton de Kock just beats the man at square leg, and he'll get himself another boundary here. Oh, back-to-back boundaries for the left-hander, just showing how dangerous he can be. Yo, Quinton de Kock, I'm so glad you're in my team, bro. Damn.
And then the situation where you can't find an agreement with Faf du Plessis, former captain, who again has given you so much.
Yeah, you see, that one.
Let's say it was money.
From Hasaranga gets a thick outside edge by Quinton de Kock. It's running to the third man boundary, but the man at point will pick it up. Only be 2 runs, 29 for 0 after 3.4. Yeah.
You read the Fundutsi report and you think, well, if they can do that, they can do all those things, spend the money on all those things, then surely there's got to be some money for a former captain. Arguably, I think our best captain.
Oh, a big appeal from Hasaranga for an LBW here. Quinton de Kock really heaving at this one. A fully pitched delivery. I like the shot there. I'll definitely go up. And Shanika is doing that. Yeah, I'm going up for that one. Quinton de Kock just trying way too hard to get this ball out the ground.
Yeah, I think this is pitching, certainly. Pitching in line. Just a matter of whether it's turning too much.
I don't know what. No. Oh, no. It could be going down. Oh, it could just slide down off stump. I'm just looking at the impact, and it looks like the impact could be umpire's call for off stump as it hits the back of Quinton de Kock's, or it hits the Quinton de Kock's back leg. Excuse me. Right on the New Balance sign because he's down for the sweep. His gloves are off already. Oh no, they're still on. What's happened? What? They're back to their marks. We didn't even see anything.
What? Oh, no.
What happened?
Did Sri Lanka cancel the review?
Nothing. Can you do that?
I don't know.
No,
the
review's taken. What is happening? Why is Hasaranga at his spots? Did they just give up? I think they just saw the sights and they were like, nah, this is not gonna happen.
I think just got.
Yeah.
I think Sri Lanka's a show is not out, but you've got to go through the whole process anyway. Yeah, it's
I think
no bat involved as we would expect. Hitting the back pad.
Oof.
Yeah, I think it's missing off stump.
Yeah, significantly. I mean, even the impact, as I said, was outside off stump. So Sri Lankans, with their reviews, they've been pretty bad. They had a review in the first T20 for Quinton de Kock that went wrong, and then the very next ball, if they'd reviewed that one, they would have had him. So Shanika, not the best reviewing captain out there, and Quinton de Kock, I guess, gets another life as he tickles this down too long on, gets probably 2 runs. They're coming back hard. Reza Hendricks makes it comfortably. Yes, coming back for 2. 31 for 0 after 4 overs. Continue.
Right. So, whilst
Are there
as
any
I am
tweets?
still
Sorry,
on
sorry,
center
Tim.
screen,
Yes.
if you were told all three of those guys 6 months ago, you need to make a decision now, yes, no. If yes, then you've got to play those games against the West Indies or whatever. And if you don't, then we're not going to consider you. To drag that situation on and the lack of communication just sends a really, really bad example. If they had gone with what you said, and they just said, no, we're going with the youth, thanks for your service, but we're going with the young guys, fair enough. But there wasn't that. There wasn't that communication. Just as what the guys have been saying to journalists, there was a massive lack of communication.
Look, I hear what you're saying, Tim, as we see Kamindu Mendes just warming up for his spell over here, right arm off break. I hear what you're saying, but aren't you tired of Cricket South Africa bending over backwards for superstars? I was thinking about this with the emissions, like we were bending over backwards to try to accommodate AB de Villiers, and then you saw what it did to us in the 2019 World Cup as this one driven right back to the bowler. Like, I can remember being like, why didn't we take AB de Villiers to England when we had the chance? And then just the whole World Cup vibe. Like, oh, Reza Hendricks, oh, driven on the offside. Oh, my gosh. Clearing the inner ring, the outer ring, and getting a maximum. Yesterday, what a drive.
Lovely shot. Lovely shot. Too full for the batsman. Easy to get under. Once you get through the inner ring, there was no danger. No danger there. It's cleared the boundary by some distance.
And look, continuing with my points. You know, we tried to bend over backwards to try to get AB de Villiers in the team. Imagine what that did for the 2019 setup, that team there. You know, someone knew that if AB de Villiers comes, I'm not going to play. You know, so you're sort of sitting half and half. And to me, what Cricket South Africa did was like, hey, guys, I'm going to back the people that are backing us. Faf du Plessis has more than enough cricket going around all around the world. And I'm sure he'd probably want to go there because he's not contracted as a player here, so he's not going to get money. As this one heaves to the offside, cow corner picks this one up very nicely, does Hasaranga, and they get themselves 2 runs at 39 for 0. But for me, it's basically just working with the people that want to work with you. You know, there's a team that you want to build. There's a culture that you want to build. Individuals impact this culture. And if you have Faf like coming in and out the way he like to his comfort, you know, then other people are going to start expecting the same things. Then you start having problems with superstars as this one hits the pads of Reza Hendricks, but this one going well down leg. No appeal from the Sri Lankans there. Then you start having problems with superstars. Then you have problems with egos. We're already losing tons of players to IPL. We saw that when Pakistan came over. So that just isn't sustainable. It's just not sustainable for your team to have so many T20 mercenaries. I get like for like one tournament they can come through, you know, but South Africa had the option to do it and just decided against it. And like, as much as it sucks, there was miscommunication, and miscommunication always sucks, but I don't think it's like abominable, you know. I don't think we were stringing them along, you know. For it could have just been miscommunication, like, oh, a little bit of turn on the pitch here for Mendes. Oh, wow. Reza Hendricks driving at that one, but catching a lot of air as the keeper picks that one up. But yeah, I just think it's miscommunication, you know.
I think we need to separate the put the Chris Morris one aside, because I think that might have affected the team atmosphere.
Yeah, just beating the outside edge does Kamindu Mendes, and that ends the 5th over 39 for 0 after 5. Yes.
But with Tahir and Faf du Plessis, you can't tell me that bringing them in would affect the team harmony. We're talking about guys that have given everything to this country. They've given 10 plus years of their careers. Tahir is loved by South Africans. You can't tell me there's people in that side that don't have a affection for Tahir. They would have a problem with him in the squad. I find that a bit strange.
Yeah.
Faf du Plessis, as Graham Smith said, they tried everything to come to an agreement. So they pushed for that to happen. They definitely wanted Faf du Plessis involved, right up until, I don't know, fairly close to the selection. Chip was just gone, lost his connection. They're just showing the stats there for Quinton de Kock. He's got a better strike rate against spin as he does against pace. 128 versus 95 in the series. South Africa 39 without loss after 5. And goes through to the keeper. No run. Nicely tossed up delivery, beating Cook on the outside his bat. Vikshana comes in again. This one is reverse swept, and Paul Brisa further while the Sri Lankans, the short third man, and Quinton de Kock goes through for 2. I'm just going to land. Nice tricky shot there from Quinton de Kock. As I said, not very good fielding from Sri Lanka. This one's driven down to mid-on by Quinton de Kock just for a single. Score moves on to 42 without loss. Quinton de Kock 25 of 20. Risa Hendricks 16 of 13. 42 without loss after 5.5 overs. So far, South Africa cruising here without too many difficulties. This one is driven through the covers hard by Risa Hendricks. Lovely shot in gap. Goes through for 4. 46 without loss. Risa looks like a man in form, which is good for South Africa going to the World Cup. It was at the air, but well away from any fielders. So there was no real danger there. Just a slight pause here as Sri Lanka make a few adjustments at the field. To Risa Hendricks. So you haven't missed anything. Vikshana comes in to Risa Hendricks. Out to the off stump. This one driven by Risa down to the man on the edge of the circle, in the mid-off. No run. Once again, South Africa not looking in any danger at all, really. No real difficulties against the Sri Lankan bowling at the moment. This one again, a bit straighter by Vikshana. Risa Hendricks comes forward and the ball squirts on the offside. No run. That's the end of the 6th over. 46 without loss. South Africa needs 75 of 84 deliveries. So it should be fairly easy. South Africa will be very happy going to the World Cup. They've won 8 of their last 10, if I have my stats correct. I think 8 of the last 10 T20s. Looks like I'm going to be joined by somebody. This one scored down to the leg side, to the man of the boundary by Quinton de Kock for a single. 47 without loss after 6.1.
Hi, Tim.
Hello, Simon. You're right.
Hello. Yeah, I'm very, very well. We may as well. Who were you with?
I was with Chippo and his connection cut. But I think
Okay.
they're both...
Hold on. We do have him there, so we're gonna just whack him straight back
How's
on.
it? How's it?
How's Chippo? I thought I'd scared you with my anti-cricket South Africa rant.
No. I mean, it's all justified, bro. These guys have been giving us problems for years, bro. Yo, sometimes it's they make it hard to support cricket in this country. They really do. But they are trying. There seems to be a plan. They are making mistakes, but as the CEO said, as Kamindu Mendes comes around the wickets to the right-hander, tickled to the leg side for a single. They have been on an upward trajectory. Still making mistakes though, but yeah, where we were before was just abhorrent.
Exactly. It's an improvement. It could be better, but it is an improvement. And if we're winning games, especially the T24, we're winning games on the field.
Not just on the field, but away from home as well. Like we've been pretty good touring with T20s, and let's not forget we are touring against proper oppositions here, as this one driven straight to the man at cover by Quinton de Kock, 48 for 0. It's nice to see that no wickets have fallen, and we're close to 50 runs. Oh, Quinton de Kock plays this one. Yo, I almost jinxed the guy. Yo, brah.
Whoa.
Yo.
That was
Tried to get hold of this one. Tried to get hold of this one, but almost found the boundary rider there. But bounced well short in the end. Shoo. Panic stations. He was trying to get the gap, that cow corner gap, because there's a sweeper, like a deep mid wicket and a long on. So he tried to just get that cow corner gap. So lucky there. 49 for 0. Reza Hendricks looking for the gap on the onside for the right-hander now. And deep square leg does very well to cut that off and save 2 runs. That brings up the 50 partnership, 51 for 1 after a few overs. I'll tell you how many overs just now.
6 point something.
6 point something.
6.5.
Oh, that's very nice. That's very nice. Yeah, what we can say is that the performances on the field, they've been pretty good. This one flighted, going down the leg side. Reza Hendricks just giving it a bit of a paddle to just guide it on its way to the fine leg boundary. 55 for 0 after 7 overs.
Cruise control, Chippo. Cruise control.
Easy. We're making batting against spin look very easy. Like, remarkably, I thought we'd struggle a little bit more. But what I've seen that's really impressed me is we've been keen to sweep. For very long, South African batsmen against spin have been trying to play it late as possible on the back foot. But very often now, we're seeing batsmen get down on one knee and if not reverse sweep it, sweep it and get lots of runs behind the wicket. So I like the variation that the batters have here with their shot selection. I'm very impressed.
Yes, indeed. It looks like there's a Sri Lankan fielders going off the field.
It
Then
looks
if-
like
then
it's
if you
Fernando
saw-
Mendes.
Yeah, it looked like that.
Mm,
But so obviously they're
that's not
need-
Laka.
No.
That's not Laka. Dushmanta Chamira coming into the attack now. The pace bowlers would not expect pace in coming into the attack here. We saw our pace bowlers conceding a lot of runs. So probably just hoping for a wicket here. A breakthrough ball as he comes from over the wicket. Quinton Cock drives this through the offside. It should be fielded by the man at deep cover. 56 for 0.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says very interesting to see South African spinners do so well in Sri Lanka. They've outbowled their counterparts comfortably. They have indeed.
I think it was Bjorn Fontaine who got the most wickets here, hey? In the series.
Yes, I think you might be right.
So then, is his selection justified? Baby! Oh,
Yeah, listen.
powerful drive by Reza Hendricks and fantastic fielding by the man at mid-off. Yo, one-handed dive to save a certain boundary. De Silva, you are my hero. That was some sexy stuff.
Very good
That ball
fielding.
was traveling. Yo, bruh. That was from the... That one was going straight to the boundary, but for great fielding. And that moves Reza Hendricks to 28 of 20. Striking at a faster rate than Quinton de Kock, who's also on 28, but of 24 balls.
I don't have a problem with Bjorn Fontaine's selection. I have a problem with his non-selection over the last 12 months. That's my problem.
I was thinking
That's
something
fine.
similar as Quinton de Kock plays this down to fine leg for a single. Yeah, continue. I'll come in with my thoughts just now.
He's played 4 T20s, and at the same time, Linda's played 11.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
There's my problem. You're picking somebody almost 3 times as often, and he doesn't make the squad. You're picking somebody 1/3 of the time, and he does make the squad. That's my problem. Nothing against Fontaine. Fontaine is a good cricketer.
As Shamira comes in now, a slower delivery played by Reza Hendricks straight to the man at a short cover. Do you have more to say there? Because I also want to jump in on that.
No, that's me. That's
Yeah.
it.
So then, thinking about that, the only thing that could justify something like that happening is giving George Linda an opportunity to justify his place in the team. So what Mpitsang said after the selection, at the selection press conference, was that George Linda was considered to be an all-rounder, and he'd be fighting. So my understanding was he'd be fighting against Aiden Markram, for example, and his batting just doesn't live up to that. Oh, wow, a big bouncer. Very, very, I'm not sure if it'll be given a wide, but over Reza Hendricks, over the keeper, and all the way to the boundary by Chamira. Runs that they don't want to concede there, but that takes South Africa to 63 for 0. But yes, as I was saying, the only reason I could see that happening was to give George Linden an opportunity to actually play, because Bjorn Fontaine was probably a known entity. They knew what they were going to get, so they played it for 2 games. They were like, okay, away, that's fine. Why wasn't this given a wide? It was given as a wide. Yes, it was.
It was. If you look at the footage there, the squirrel leg umpire did put out his arms to signal that. I didn't see the standing umpire. But the stub signal, but the squirrel leg umpire did. So I assume he did eventually. Signal.
And I saw the score go from 59 to 63, and as math says, that's 4 runs, and there should be 5. Maybe they gave the wide and then they gave the 4, but yeah, here we are. It's fine. I'm not going to be stingy with runs now. This isn't the time to be stingy with runs. We're comfortably well ahead on the win predictor here. I think just giving known entities, Bjorn Fontaine was a known entity, and George Linda had to sort of like fight for his spot, and I'm glad that he got the opportunity. I'm glad that he got the opportunity to actually fight for his spots. As this one played down to a deep mid wicket for a single, 64 for 0 after 8.
Okay, quick info is saying 5 wides. So make of that what you like, but quick info is reporting 5 wides for that delivery. Chipo?
Yeah, yes. I was agreeing.
Yeah.
Yes, 5 wides.
Yeah.
That'll do. That'll do.
Yeah, I was just making sure that that's what they were in agreement with.
As long as the score's the
Yes.
same. You know what? That's just 1 run.
I don't want to, harp on about it, but I did say that at the beginning of that away to Pakistan, I said George has got to make runs. The next couple of series, George has got to make something. 25. A couple of 25s would have gone a long way to saying, right, pick me. But it is what it is. We are where we are. Hopefully George's not too disappointed and he will be, picked after the World Cup.
Muted appeal from Hasaranga as this hits the pads of Reza Hendricks, goes to the offside. No run there.
Ooh.
So we're just seeing replays of Kamindo Mendes bowling left arm and bowling right arm. Talk about variation. Should he be 2 different bowlers? As Reza Hendricks smears this all the way down Sakar corner, all the way along the ground. That was a classy, powerful shot. Look at that.
It did.
Dragging it from the offside down the ground from the moment it came from the bat. And that was a very, very vacant region. And Reza Hendricks said, thank you, very pleased. I'll take that boundary. This one sliced off the back foot straight to cover and went there quickly, but no run there.
I do love how Proteas players who I perhaps don't give enough respect show me up. I do love it. I love this from Reza.
Yeah, you know what? I saw him sick.
I still have my problems with him. But the man looks like he's in form. So, I can't.
This one tickled to the onside. 2 runs there, 70 for 0. Look, for me, I started noticing that Reza Hendricks had been getting like a decent amount of runs. Like from the West Indies series, there wasn't an innings where I was like, you know what, Reza, you left a lot to be desired. And the innings that it actually did happen, he scored like 24, So there wasn't like an innings where he was really lacking runs, not offering anything at the top order. And that's quite nice, It's a nice feeling to have. And it makes you think, it makes you wonder, where does Temba Bavuma fit in the side now? Because his performances have been up and down of late. And Reza Hendricks, he's just there scoring runs. He can score them quickly. He can clear the boundary because we heard that Umpo loves the boundaries now. So, what's not to like about this guy?
He doesn't clear the boundary enough. That's my problem with him.
What is enough, Tim, as this one played to the offside by, that should have been Quinton de Kock, 72 for 0 after 9 overs. What is enough, Tim?
His career strike rate is just 130. That's not good enough. That's not, if you're looking to win T20 World Cups, that's not good enough. You need to be 140 plus. And also his boundary percentages is down. I know Paul has the stats, but I think it is something like 13, 14, right about there. And the really good guys are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there's a difference between him and Finn Allen of New Zealand, people like that.
You know, I get what you're saying, and I was in the I think you were also there, the podcast chat where we had Andy talking to us about boundary percentage and how we're falling short of a World Cup winning side because of the lack of boundaries, and that was something that we could improve on. But something that he also mentioned was that how England play is that they don't back their bowlers so much, but they back their batsmen to get any score out there. I don't think that's our style of play. Like, I don't think that's our style of play at all. What seems to be our style of play is getting. Oh wow, we've had two aborted run-ups here from Sri but yes, I think our style of play is get a decent or defend a decent total with the bowling, and the batsman won't have to do too much work. So we don't need to bludgeon the ball left, right, and center because our bowling attack has enough to restrict the other team to a decent score. So which means we don't have to be as reckless. Because the thing about England, as beautiful as they are, if 3 batsmen go out, what's the game plan then? 3 quick wickets. What happens then? You know?
They keep going. They keep going.
Oh well, yeah. They keep going. Yeah, they have the batters.
They trust the process. They trust the process.
Yeah,
they
true.
don't. They absolutely trust that process.
But we don't have that luxury because we just don't have the batters. So we can't bat the same as this one driven to the offside. So that means we need a different plan, right? So that's why I think we won't get strike rates of 140 because like we don't have the batting lineup to do that. So I think what we've been hearing a lot from the top order batsmen, especially, I heard it in a Yanaman Malan interview and a Quinton de Kock interview. There's a certain emphasis put on staying in, on a man that stays like bats deep. You know, one player that does that carries their bat through. So I think that's what's sort of taking our strike rates away, as this one played cut by Quinton de Kock to short third man for a single.
So I'm just gonna chip in. Yes, I agree with all of that. With everything you said. I don't think it's going to win us a World Cup, but I agree with everything you said that we can't do what England does. We just can't. We don't have. We don't have the squad to do that. So it would be foolish of us to play that kind of cricket. But I do think we need to be a better balance than what we're doing at the moment. So I'm just gonna give you Reza Hendricks. Reza Hendricks' career strike rate is 122. He has upped it this year. So this year in 10 matches, it's 130. But it's just 130.
Who is he competing against? Who are the batsmen? He's competing against Yanaman Malan, probably Aiden Markram, Temba Bavuma, and Rasifan. As Quinton de Kock drives off perfectly placed shots that beating the man at cover and just beating the man at long off. So if you talk about placement, this is the shot that you absolute class from Quinton de Kock to get that boundary.
Wow, there's Quinton de Kock and then there's the rest of the team. That's what it is, especially for our batting.
What about David Miller? He's
not playing. He's not playing. He's not playing.
No, but
I love Miller time just as much as you, but
Quinton de Kock smashes this straight to the man at short mid wicket. There was an opportunity for a catch, but that catch seemed to be dropped. I'd definitely like to see the replay of that because that was hit with some power, hit very low, very flat, and straight to the man there at a short mid wicket. Drop catch, 81 for 0 after 10. I think that's the end of our spell.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly get in there. So, Yanaman Malan is nearly striking 140. But as Paul will tell you, his boundary percentage is considerably better than somebody like Reza Hendricks. So that is why we are both on the Malan train.
What's his average?
Yeah, Milan's average is
Janeman Malan's
22.
average. What does he average?
He averages 22 this year.
And Hendrik?
But averages don't matter in this format, man.
Don't matter, you know, and especially if you're a top order batsman. I don't think you can say averages don't matter as a top order batsman because there you have all
They don't matter as much.
the
Okay,
balls you
so
need to face. You
Hi, gents.
don't need anything. Yeah. Sorry, we're leaving.
Bruce's,
We're leaving. We're
Bye,
leaving.
Japan.
Denise, I need to leave.
They're not
Bruce's
ready.
average is better. Right, cheers. Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Tim.
Tim. Oh, thank you
Hi,
very
Otto.
much.
Hi, Chris.
Howdy,
Report,
howdy.
Tim. Hello, Chris. Where are you? What are you seeing?
So I'm waiting for the first delivery of the 11th over. So I'm probably
Same.
5 minutes behind live, which I seem to be.
Okay,
So it looks like we're going to see.
there.
Good enough.
Probably going to see
In.
Karunaratne. Okay, then
Done.
I'll try see if I can catch up with Denise. No, okay, I'm a few seconds behind Denise as well. So you can
Yeah,
do ball
okay,
by
so-
ball. Denise.
So Kulina Ratner into the cock, and he worked that one down to square leg for a single. Score moves on to 83 for 0. They were having an interesting conversation, Chris, Tim and Chepo, about Janeman Malan and the squad and the balance and everything like that in the game plan. I agree with them. We don't have the luxury of having the batting quality that England does. But I think we're just going to need to revert back to our old tried and tested as the Kuranarachne comes into. Oh, now Quinton de Kock was playing, sorry. And swatted outside, off, over, backward point, and picked up by the sweeper for 2 more. I think. Yeah, 84 for. No, for a single, sorry. 84 for 0 after 10.2. I think we're going to do our old tried and tested where we back our bowlers. That has traditionally been South Africa's strength, and I think we're gonna put more trust in our bowlers than we do in our batters.
Yeah, it'll
I just
depend
hope we have
on
the right bowling lineup.
what the pitches in the UAE end up looking like. But the balance
Yeah.
on the side might be slightly off. When in this game anyway, when you look at Dwayne Pretorius and Van Mulder both playing and
Yeah.
really not bowling very many overs, but you can probably afford to have just one of them and have an extra batsman.
Kuranarachne into Reza Hendricks, who works this one to deep backward square for a single, 85 for no loss. No, you have Jan Mulder in the team, and he didn't bowl.
He
Did he?
bowled one over. He bowled,
He bowled an over, so at
So
least
he bowled
okay.
one,
They gave
and
him the
Dwayne
not
Pretorius
TFC
bowled
over.
2. And Dwayne Pretorius and Van Mulder almost bowled the same thing, and you're only getting 3 overs between the two of them. There is room for a
Yeah, there's room for
Temple or a
extra.
David Miller,
Yeah,
or if Janeman Malan was in the squad, one of them to be part of the top 6.
there is room for players in the squad, but to have one reserve batsman is a bit in stretching things a bit thin. As Kuranarachne comes in for the 4th ball of the over, Quinton de Kock swipes and misses outside off stump. Score remains 85 for no loss.
One stat that shows how good of a T20 series we've had is if you compare the number of wickets each team has taken across the 3 games right now, that is 24 wickets for South Africa and just 6 for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, but to think that on pitches that would really suit spinners, that South Africa would outspin Sri Lanka is something you wouldn't have ever thought would happen. Kuranarachne in for the 5th ball, and this one is a slower ball bouncer, and Quinton de Kock works this one to cow corner for a single, and it is 86 for no loss.
It may have been different if the pitches were even more conducive to spin, like that 3rd ODI that we saw.
Yeah,
We ended up playing the 3 T20s on that same ODI pitch.
Yeah, I don't think if that happened, if they served that up to us, I don't think there would have been any hope. As Kuranarachne comes in for the last ball of the over to Reza Hendricks. Release and drops it short. Reza Hendricks drags this from outside off stump to deep backward square for a single, 87 for no loss after 11 overs. But
we do have a couple
I
of
think-
YouTube comments that I think I didn't get the notification if I try to go through those. Sorry.
No problem. I think I had a couple there.
Okay, is Jean or Jean saying England bat deep, they can bat until 9? And Ray PMB saying, I don't think your bowling will defend 160 against New Zealand, England, and India, especially if KG is out of form. It's going to be interesting. We'd have to have a good day. I'd say, like, if we played them 10 times, it's not an even match, but we can win some of them. So if we catch them at the right time, it can happen. T20s are like that.
I'm not saying that it's the right game plan or it's going to be a successful game plan, but that's the traditional South African game plan, is that our bowlers tend to keep teams honest against us, and our batting lineup just mops up. But I saw something interesting, that South Africa have chased 300 plus since 1990, since the return to international cricket, something ridiculous like 17 times or something.
So you're talking about ODIs there?
ODIs, yeah.
Because I don't. Yeah. Thankfully, we haven't had to chase 300 in any of the T20s.
But that's the thing. But at the same time, I think there's been something like 50, 60 occasions where the bowling lineup has defended like 200 and under.
That's definitely what we saw in the West Indies, where our batsmen weren't lighting it up. They were just sort of doing the job, and it was the bowlers winning the game for us.
Yeah. But even in longer formats, it's usually our our bowlers keeping us honest, keeping the teams honest. As Asaranga comes in and to Reza Hendricks, and he works this one down to long on for a single.
Ray PMB says that Mulder isn't a white ball plan. Also says having Fuff for batting and Morris for balance would have made a lot of difference. Yeah, I do think of the two seeming all-rounders we have here, Dwayne Pretorius is the man I back a little bit more. He can get that high strike rate as a batsman, but also is a decent bowler. And
welcome back,
Dwayne Pretorius is the closest thing we have to Chris Morris in this current squad.
Yeah, the wish version of Chris Morris. Saranga in for his second ball to Quinton de Kock. And the paddle sweep! They're doing it on purpose, because I didn't see them play a sweep shot during the last stint for like 3-4 overs while I was backstage watching. They didn't play a sweep shot, and then now, as soon as I come on, out they bring it out. They're doing it on purpose.
They're trying to show you it's effective. It's an effective shot.
It almost cost Quinton his wicket there, but I think he's getting a little bit cocky.
In for the third ball, this one outside off, but worked to the leg side by Quinton de Kock. A lot of wrist in that shot, and that one goes to the deep mid wicket for a single. 89 for no loss of the 11.3. They're doing it on purpose.
Second delivery definitely was a chance where he got an edge onto it into the gloves of the keeper, who then just rebounded it over his head.
That didn't look like it is. It looked like it came off the face of the bat. As Asaranga in for the fourth ball, and this one is worked to deep extra cover for a single. All moves on to 90 for no loss.
So we got a remix to the. Sorry, you go, Artu.
Looking at our squad, what do you think you guys will be happy with if we make the top 4 in the T20 World Cup?
I'll be happy if we make it out the knockout. If we make it to the knockout stage, if we get because our group's a group of death. Slog sweep by Quinton de Kock and safe. One bounce for two cow corner. Long on had a chance at it, but he was having a run around, but he couldn't get there quick enough. Quinton de Kock saw the ball, hit the ball, not paddling the ball, and this one was swatted for one bounce for. Long on had no chance, actually.
Flat enough. If that had been a little bit higher trajectory, the long on might have managed to get around there, but all's good.
Asaranga in for the last ball. This one worked straight to deep backward square for a single. 95 for no loss after 12 overs. I'd be happy to. This team needs, if this team makes it out of the group stage, considering the group that they're in,
I don't know.
that is a major achievement.
maybe it's me being looking through my Protea tinted
you're
glasses,
positive.
but I do think we're better. We're a better T20 team than the West Indies and Australia, and those are the teams that we're going to be competing with in our group, along with England, and then to be determined later sides. We'll figure out. We'll play it as it lies. We'll see what happens in that first stage.
Yeah, and that to be determined team might be Sri Lanka.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the time.
Yeah.
That's the time, and that is the day.
It'll be good to leave some a bit of a bad taste in the mouth in this last T20 if we can wipe the series clean.
Whitewash
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
South Africa haven't played a T20 at home this year.
No, we played Pakistan at home.
Oh, okay.
We played those 4 games where we lost our IPL players for the second half of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
we
yes,
ended up
yes.
Losing that series.
Schreinecker in for his first over of the day to Quinton de Kock, and this one is worked down to long on for 2. They had to scamper in the second at the end. South Africa required 24-47. Score is 97 for no loss. I totally forgot about that Pakistan series.
Where does this opening partnership rank in terms of highest scores in Sri Lanka and subcontinent? And
I'll
whatever?
have a look for you.
Oh,
yeah, and for
must
South
be.
Africa,
It's
all
nice
the
to be on
different
air
rates.
with Chris. I love being on air with Chris. You just ask the right questions and you can hear the keyboard going.
Schreinecker in to Quinton de Kock, who works this one down to third man for a single, and that's 50 for Quinton de Kock.
Yes.
He is in some great form.
I'll drink to that.
Almost up there with Lazelle Lee, who is in amazing form. Scored another 50 not out yesterday as South Africa wrapped up the West Indies one-day series 3-0. Also scoring a 50 was Laura Bolford, the Alpha. She's also in
She's
some
so
great
good.
form.
Jeez,
Oh,
like,
she's I'm gonna hype her up every single time I can.
So this
Schreinecker in to Hendricks, drops this one short, and this one is pulled well to deep backward square for 4. Well, he got all of that. He saw it early, and that's 50 for Reza Hendricks, making sure that we remember that he's still part of the setup. Oh, now who is the guy who's going to get dropped?
it's
Once the
I don't
captain
envy
is
the
fit.
selectors. On the partnership
You know
thing,
what?
so now we've brought up the 100 partnership. It's 102, which is South Africa's 7th highest opening partnership in T20s. We have no chance at the highest because we don't have a big enough total to chase. That was Lutz Bosman and Graham Smith got 170 against England in 2000.
Jeez.
wow. How long is
In
it
a
going to be before that
T20.
gets beaten?
This
Yeah,
one,
you need the
by
right conditions.
Schreinecker into Reza Hendricks, and this one is worked down the ground to straight down the ground to long on for a single. But yeah, I think Heinrich Klaassen at the moment looks like the guy that's going to have to sit out.
Yeah, I would agree
But
with that. I'd be okay with
There's
that.
also David Miller,
Yeah.
because now that Aiden Markram apparently has a golden arm, he's making a good account for himself. So he's giving people reasons not to have him sit out, even though he's not performing with the bat.
Yeah, so let's say we
I
did
think
manage to.
Markram-
Yeah,
sorry,
go,
you go,
Chris. Go, Chris. No.
So yeah, I think Markram
Trying to
definitely
in.
has to be part of the setup.
What?
with his spin.
In the air and over extra cover, and they'll take 2 hard in mouth there for the moment with Quinton de Kock. This was I don't know what he was thinking. Was this his one brain fart for the innings? It got big on him outside the off stump, and he tried to swat it over extra cover, but didn't get all of it, and it went straight up, but luckily into vacant land. Yeah, you were saying about as the Schreinecker comes in, and this one is swept by Quinton de Kock to 4-4. Swept out, leaned over from outside off, and just swept it to fine leg for 4. Score moves on to 109 for no loss. South Africa
Quinny's
12
got
runs
a-
on 42.
Quinny's got a dinner reservation that he wants to keep.
Quentin wants to go home quickly.
Yes. Back to the
yeah,
hotel, please. Let's go.
Chris,
Start
you
the
were saying?
bus.
I
Start
think
the bus.
Markram definitely has to be there. His T20 batting numbers are good enough by themselves, but he's broad enough with the arm that he's got to be there. He's our extra bowler. He's the JP Duminy of this current setup. And then, if you do mess with the balance, you can bring in an extra batsman at the sake of Vian Mulder. Because if he's only going to be bowling one over, you may as well have either Miller or Bavuma come in. And then there's a chance that Klaasen goes as well if both of those guys come back. But that, you don't know the balance that they're going for. If then it's suddenly a seaming pitch halfway through, it might look a little bit silly. But if it is a spinning pitch, and we're pretty confident in that, then maybe you change the setup.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, guys. You guys have been following all of this very closely after this ball.
And this one is worked down to long on for a single by Reza Hendricks and the score moves on to 110 for no loss. South Africa has a chance of winning this by 10 wickets, and that's Mendes, the bowler.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. If we did manage to get Morris and Faf du Plessis in the team, who would you drop?
Mendes in, and this one, Mendes into Quinton de Kock, and this one worked to deep mid wicket for a single.
It's probably the same guys. It's probably Klaasen for Faf.
Yeah.
And then either Mulder or Pretorius. Pretorius and Morris are the most similar players, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe it's Pretorius that ends up losing out if they were available. But yeah, if ifs and ands were pots and pans.
Yeah. So that would be Klaasen, Mulder, and Pretorius that would be on the chopping block if we go to bring in Babuma, Faf, and Morris as
Miller.
Mendes in. Cool. We do have a problem. And this one is worked away to deep backward square for a single. Oh, and this one is Reza Hendricks 50. I prematurely celebrated his 50. The score moves on to 113 for no loss.
I'll sing the jingles.
Yes. So that's 50 runs off. 50 runs off of 38 balls, 5 fours, and a 6 at a strike rate of 130.
Yeah, good
As
stuff.
Mendes comes in for the next ball, and this one is pulled by Reza Hendricks straight to the fielder though for a single, 114 for no loss. South Africa need 7 off 38.
Can we not just let them bat on? Both teams need practice. It's a bit of a
they just batted 20 overs.
Yeah, so Quentin needs to go up to the umpire and smack him with the bat or something to get some penalty runs, and then we can bat some more. Yeah.
I'm telling you, my unicorns are giving us luck. As Mendes comes in for the first ball of the over, and this one, don't know what shot that was, but works it to the leg side to deep backward into a short fine leg for no run. Score remains 114 for no loss after 13.5 overs. 6 overs to get 7 runs. This is going to be tight, guys. Last ball of the over, and Quinton de Kock tries to finish this to get the tie now and misses everything, and he drops his bat. Are they having a drinks break? Or are they just stalling for time now?
I think he
drinks break.
He dropped his bat. It looked like he might have. Okay, so he knew that the drinks were coming on.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting, and I think that with all these questions around the side and the communication around CSA, I mean, this is like par for the course. I keep referring back to my world, my frame of reference, where if you don't know whether you're going to get the promotion or the raise or the you don't know whether you're doing a good job or not. There's no feedback. Nobody's telling you what your path is to success. What do you need to do to finish the project on time? These guys must be pulling their hair out, sitting around waiting for people to tell them, okay, listen, if you do A, B, and C, you'll be in line for the next tour. Or if you, and then like Umpo mentioned in his rant earlier, all of a sudden the fourth place guy overtakes you and takes your gold, and you don't even get a medal, in the squad, so it's difficult to understand why
in
that's done
for
that way.
the first ball of the over, and this one is short. Riza Hendricks does a hop and a pull, and this one goes to deep mid wicket for 2. Score moves on to 116 for no loss after 14 overs. 5 runs to win. It's
you
so
keep hoping
insane.
that looking in from the outside, you're not privy to the goings on behind the scenes. But then you hear the stories like Imran Tahir and Chris Morris, and then it's like, what? How? No.
Surely. It's one of the things where...
Just pick up the phone,
Kuranarane in for the next ball, and this one swatted straight down the ground by Riza Hendricks, and this will go... it's picked up on the boundary, and it is just... They have taken 3? They've taken 2. Apologies.
Yeah.
The score moves on to 118 for no loss. With Graham Smith being the director of cricket, and I think with the Chris Morris situation, it is one guy thinking that someone isn't going to be good for the team. A guy who's performing. Surely that one guy's personal opinion, personal preference should be put aside for the betterment of the team. As Kuranarane in, drops short again, and Riza Hendricks is all over this, pulls it straight to the man, and they're taking another 2. No, they've just taken the single. Just strolled through 2 runs to win.
Are you sitting down with Chris Morris and talking to him about it? Are you telling him where the lines will be drawn? Are you telling him why you're thinking along those lines? Are you giving him an opportunity to grow and to improve? Or are you just saying, well,
he's got an attitude now.
Yeah, that's him. Of course he's got an attitude. He's got a freaking how many million rand or whatever
he
it
gets
is.
5.5 million rand a year. Oh, sorry, I'm talking about Graham Smith.
He's 5.5 million rand a year.
It's just about the 2 richest cricketers in South Africa can't get on with one another, Morris and Graham Smith.
What other successful sports team does that? Nobody.
Yeah. You don't hear of that happening with the Springboks.
Yeah.
This went to Quinton de Kock. This worked extra cover, deep extra cover, and they've taken 2, and that's the game. South Africa have won by 10 wickets, have won the series 3-0. South Africa unbeaten on the road in 2021.
In T20s.
And this is in T20s. This is a lot of building a lot of momentum towards the World Cup. But now it's the downtime between then and now. Can everything be sorted out behind the scenes to get this team gelling and going?
And one thing's...
Yep.
No, sorry. Just finish your thought.
I was waffling.
Okay. No, I was thinking this afternoon, all the other teams are watching Quinton de Kock videos and trying to figure out how the hell they're going to get his wicket. Because if this guy fires for us, so how many group games have we got? There's 6 in each pool, right? So that's five round robin games, and then a semi-final and a final. So 7 matches. If you don't get Quinton de Kock's wicket, you're not gonna beat South Africa. Yeah.
So that's South Africa's 3rd ever 10-wicket victory in a T20, and our first since 2012. We've did it against Pakistan and Zimbabwe formally. And it does go back to that stat that we've taken 24 wickets this series, and Sri Lanka's only managed to take 6. Pretty dire position for Sri Lanka. And there's a chance that they don't end up making it out of that first stage. I think they're in the same group as Ireland and the Netherlands, who could fire on the right day, and Sri Lanka is facing a bit of trouble going into that. I should also try, obviously we struggle to get through the YouTube comments in a T20, especially with lots of spin going on. We can't talk about anything and get to the comments. So I'll try get through a few. Ray PMB making the point that South Africa is probably better than the West Indies on a spinning pitch, but on a flat deck, it might be different. Jean or Jean says that they remember watching that Lutz Bosman Graham Smith opening partnership. And saying that Lutz Bosman was on fire. And Ray PMB right at the end now, just saying you have to manage players' egos and play the best players in the team, and the coach is there to manage egos. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast today with Dirk Nannes where he said the best coaches are just man managers.
Yes.
That's often the most important thing in a cricket side.
And you see the same thing. You see the same comments in the NBA, in the NFL, in the Premier League in England. The coaches that get the job done are the ones that can manage those superstars and get them in line and keep them playing towards the team goals.
That's why Gary Kirsten was such a great coach for South Africa. But he didn't stick around that long. But he installed that thing of personal responsibility with the guy. You're lacking in something and you need to work on something. It's up to you to do it. He's not gonna. If you want to be a superstar, you want to do this, you want to do that. That's fine, do it. But you're gonna get
go and do it somewhere else.
You're not performing. Because it's a privilege to play for South Africa. You really need us more than we need you.
Exactly.
But I don't think that's really like that. But I'm just looking at the group, the T20 group, before we run through the scorecard and everything like that. The approaches are going to have to beat either England or Australia if we're so confident about beating the West Indies. So either England or Australia we have to knock off. Australia with is Warner should be playing. Warner and Smith back in the team.
And they'll have
that's
Maxwell
a different
back.
Australian
they'll
team.
have Pat Cummins back. It will be a slightly different team.
That's
but
a different.
They're out of practice.
Yeah. Okay.
As are all of us.
We're gonna run through the scorecard quickly. Chris, are you gonna run through, or should I?
You're welcome to. I was looking at other stats now.
Oh, okay, no problem. Sri Lanka came in, won the toss, decided to bat first. They scored 120 for 8. Their batting lineup, Kusal Pereira leading from the top, 39 off 33. Then Avishka, he was out LBW by bowled Keshav Maharaj. Avishka Fernando was caught in bowled Kagiso Rabada for 12. Then Njaya De Silva carrying on with is a bit of shocking form, was stubbed by Quinton de Kock, bowled Bjorn Fontaine. And then Rajapaksa came in, was bowled by Kagiso Rabada, who decided to find form after a shocking game in the last one. Kamindu Mendes came in and was out. Caught Keshav Maharaj, bowled Aiden Markram for 10. Dasun Shanaka caught Rassi van der Dissen, bowled Vian Mulder for 18. Hasaranga De Silva caught Maharaj, bowled Bjorn Fontaine for 4. And then a run out. Madhushanka was out, run out for 1.
Yeah, a bit of a comedy run out. He ran 3/4 of the way down the pitch, and Shanaka, the captain, sent him back, and he had no chance.
So the South African bowlers, Bjorn Fontaine, 4 overs, 2 wickets for 21. Kagiso Rabada, 3 overs, 2 wickets for 23 at 7.6. Still a bit expensive. Dwayne Pretorius, 2 overs, 0 for 19. Very expensive, 9.5. But considering this is the first time he's bowled on tour, it's understandable. Tabray Shamsi didn't get a wicket today. The number 1 T20 bowler, 4 overs, 0 for 27. Aiden Markram came in with golden arm, 2 overs, 1 for 4 at a run rate of 2. Keshav Maharaj came in, 4 overs, 1 for 14, and Vian Mulder came in 1 over, 1 for 11, all ones and a run rate of 11. The batting lineup for South Africa is pretty easy. Reza Hendricks, 56 or 42, and Quinton de Kock, 59 or 46, making up South Africa's 121 for no loss, giving them the victory by 10 wickets. The Sri Lankan bowlers, Tik Sharma came in and bowled 4 overs, 0 for 28. Tik Sharma has been figured out, it seems, by Reza Hendricks, and it spells doom for a bit of his career. Pasaranga da Silva bowled 4 overs, 0 for 35. Kamindu Mendes switched between left and right hand bowling. Right? It is him that's ambidextrous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an figure spin.
3 overs,
okay.
0 for 22, 7.33. Chamira bowled the 1 over for 9 runs. Tavenka Kuninaratne, 1.4 overs, 0 for 13. And Dustin Shanaka, 1 over, 0 for 14. Guys, your final thoughts?
I'll just try to do the last couple of YouTube comments. Ray PMB asking if Dirk Nan was on the Great Cricketer. Yeah, that was. I heard it. And then he also asks, Anis, were you on Khalid's show? I don't know if you're on the Cricket Fanatics YouTube show at some stage.
No. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the invite.
Yeah, it's just Import Seppo and Ravi Reddy who seem to crack the nod that side.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my selection. I'm bubbling under. I don't even know if I'm on the radar.
Yeah, thanks everybody for listening. I'm just going to say, follow us on YouTube, hit the notification button, and you'll be notified when we go on air. We're looking forward to the T20 World Cup. And apologies for the ladies' side of things. We had some difficulty in figuring out how and when we're going to do that. So really, we tried. We had some issues with the coverage here in South Africa for the ladies' national team, which was very disappointing. So let's just put that out there. So I think the next time we'll be on air will be on Thursday for the podcasts. Paul can confirm that. Keep watching our Twitter feed. And as I said, just hit that notification bar on YouTube. You'll get notified when the guys do the podcast live. You can ask them questions as they're doing it and then watch the recording afterwards. And then hopefully our rugby coverage has also been a little bit last minute, but we will try our best to bring you the rest of the rugby championship and hopefully no more losses for the Springboks and that they can defend their title. And do remember that you can also sponsor our podcasts, a series, a game, an over, whatever you like. Get in touch on 1wsr.com. We do this in our spare time and voluntarily at the moment, but we'd love to be able to cover some costs. So if you would like to expose your brand to our audience, which is growing very nicely, do get in touch. And thank you very much to all our new subscribers. We do appreciate it. Thank you very much for everybody that makes this happen. This is still a dream come true for me. I still can't believe I'm actually doing this. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye from me.